Hello and welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Explore our playlist for more captivating novels, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 61 Live Mobilization. Recruitment Conference. Soul Lifespan. 3 days later, the news of the dissolution of the Demon City Bounty Alliance soon spread to everyone, and all the survivors. After dinner talk was about this battle and the floating island hanging 10,000 meters in the sky, which was the dream of countless people. The center of the topic, Lu Ming, seemed to have disappeared, and there was no movement in the past 3 days. It was as if he had disappeared right before everyone's eyes. At this moment, in the sea area of Demon City, News Agency Island, Wen Weixin hugged the call duck tightly and kept chewing her nails with an unwilling expression on her face. A group of news agency employees were waiting on the side, and no one dared to speak. It's so annoying. Why do we have to raise it so high? Lu Ming, you damn guy, don't you know that my pigeons can't fly? How can I get the first-hand news like this? Wen Weixin was a little emotionally broken, lying on the desk, tears streaming down her face. Sister An and Ah Peng, who were standing by, wanted to speak out to comfort them out of concern. At this time, Dudu. Wen Weixin's phone rang. Wen Weixin looked at the panel with a look of despair, and it turned out that the call was from Lu Ming himself. Be quiet. Hush. The little girl immediately perked up, sat up straight, and stretched out her finger to signal everyone to be quiet. Wen Weixin picked up the phone and greeted in a cordial tone. Hello, Mr. Lu, how come you thought of calling me? I'm so flattered. Ah. Lu Ming sneered during the call, which made Wen Weixin a little crazy. Just talk, what do you mean? Help me with something. Hearing this, Wen Weixin frowned, but still responded with a smile, well. I'm just a small news reporter. Help me host a live broadcast. Lu Ming's low voice sounded again. Wen Weixin's eyes lit up, as if she had smelled big news, and asked back, no problem, when? Just tomorrow. I'll send someone to hand it over to you later. Then, the call was hung up and a beeping sound was heard. Wen Weixin, who had received the handover order, immediately perked up and called out to all the employees, comrades. Big news. This is big news. Everyone, get ready. Let's get ready for a big fight. 10 minutes later, in the public channel, gossips and posts were spread out through the Water Army channel like casting a net. The news spread like wildfire, and soon all the survivors in the entire Magic City knew that a large-scale live broadcast would be held tomorrow. The protagonist of the live broadcast is Lu Ming, the man who single-handedly disbanded the Magic City Bounty Alliance. Vertical Sun. The sea area of Demon City. All the survivors were waiting for the public channel's live broadcast. Many people had already begun to speculate on what Lu Ming was going to say in this live broadcast. Was he going to replace the Demon City Bounty Hunter Alliance and establish his own faction? Or was he going to declare war on the Demon City Navy and pirates? No one knows, so everyone is looking forward to it. Suddenly, a post appeared in the public channel. The first floating island recruitment conference. Closing square bracket. The moment they saw the post, all the survivors, whether they were pirates in the Navy or bounty hunters, felt their eyes light up and they clicked on the post decisively. A red banner. There are 16 large characters written on it. Work hard and bravely to open up new land and get rich. Do it yourself and have enough food and clothing. Lu Ming sat under the banner, looking at the people in front of him, holding a teacup and looking at the screen, and asked. Has it started yet? Lu Ming put down the teacup, slowly opened his mouth, and said seriously. Cough cough. Fellow survivors, are you still worried about your survival? Are you still running around killing ghosts for a piece of black bread? Do you miss the peaceful life you once had? Are you tired of the endless fighting and struggle? Lu Ming coughed and said loudly. As long as you are willing to make a tiny, insignificant sacrifice, we can completely escape from the sea full of killings and dangers, say goodbye to the sea, and return to live on land again. On the floating island, everyone can find their own job and no longer worry about not being able to pay expensive mortgages and medical care, let alone personal safety. I, Lu Ming, guarantee it with my personal integrity. Human rights are paramount. Housing allocation, free medical care, absolute safety. Now we are recruiting residents from all over the demon city. As soon as these words were spoken, the hearts and minds of all the survivors were moved by the prospect of a better life. Fuck. Is this true? Is Mr. Lu so kind? I don't believe it. How dare you? He is obviously my dearest island master, I will not allow you to offend him like this. Closing square bracket. Someone, drag the first floor out and behead him. Offending the majesty of heaven is an unforgivable crime. We, the residents of the floating island, will never allow a sinner like you to exist. Closing square bracket. I am dying of laughter. I am so overwhelmed. Let's listen first. Who knows what strict requirements there may be. Closing square bracket. Ah, I really want to live on land. I'm seasick. As long as I'm chosen. Lu Ming stretched out a finger and said to the screen. 10,000 people. Due to limited resources, we can only open up one floating island residence. No matter your status, gender, as long as you meet the qualifications, you can become a distinguished and lucky resident of the floating island. Having said that, Lu Ming picked up the teacup and blew away the hot steam. This made everyone in the live broadcast room anxious. Can we wait a while before drinking? My Lord Island Master, please tell me what qualifications you need. Closing square bracket. Namo Amitabha. Buddha bless me, I must be qualified. Closing square bracket. Don't even think about it. This is definitely a very harsh request. It's probably no different from selling yourself into slavery. Closing square bracket. I can even sell myself. If you can give me a life like this, I will sell you too. Closing square bracket. Can he finish this cup of tea? I'm going crazy. Closing square bracket. ... Slurp, slurp. Where were we talking about? Lu Ming put down the teacup and continued. Oh, qualifications. So how can one obtain the qualifications to become a resident of the floating island? Lu Ming gave an inexplicable smile. As long as you are willing to make a little sacrifice. 10 years. All survivors under the age of 50 voluntarily give up their current identities and become civilians. And pay 10 years of soul life and sign a soul contract with me. You can become a distinguished resident of our floating island and obtain permanent residency rights. Of course, this permanent residency only belongs to you personally. If your children want to continue to obtain permanent residency, they will also have to pay the full amount of their soul lifespan, which is no more than 10 years. How about it? Such a low price, aren't you excited? Lu Ming looked at the screen with a warm smile on his face. Public channel. As soon as these words were spoken, all the survivors burst into curses. Good fellow. I thought you were selling your body. But you are selling your life to me. Closing square bracket. Other women only earn 1 month's worth of life in half a year, and you, Mr. Lu, are doing this business for 1 year. Closing square bracket. 10 years ago, you didn't know me. 10 years later, I might be fucking gone. Closing square bracket. But why am I a little excited? I am 30 this year. Even if I can live to 80, I will have 10 years of happiness after 40 years of marriage. Closing square bracket. ... Of all the days of life, I only took away 3,650 days. Lu Ming said calmly, emphasizing the sentence. Friends. It's only 1/10. What else are you not satisfied with? After becoming a resident of the floating island, you can enjoy free housing allocation, medical care, and a good education for your children. You will even be assigned a job based on your skills. Compared to your previous miserable life, isn't this your best choice? Perhaps others need you to be docile and obedient, but I, Lu Ming, only want your 10 years of soul life. That's all I have to say. I hope you guys take care of yourselves. As for other selection criteria, someone will post them on the public channel later. See you on the floating island. Lu Ming waved goodbye and the live broadcast ended. Beep. At this moment, all the survivors in Demon City were silent. Chapter 62. All parties are in action. The screening is imminent. 4 people form a team. The sea area of Demon City. After the live broadcast ended, the news that the floating island was recruiting residents spread to every corner of the Magic City waters at almost the fastest speed, and even the seagulls flying in the sky were familiar with it. A small boat. The little fat boy slumped on the ground, looked up at the sky, and muttered. 10 years. That would give me a lot of good food. As he spoke, the little fat man pulled over a piece of wood from the side, raised his hand knife, and only a few sounds were heard. The wood turned into slices of fresh ribeye steaks, which were still slightly bloody. Sand was sprinkled on the steaks, and the sand immediately turned into salt and black pepper. The little fat man murmured, "Forget it. I won't starve to death anyway. That's 10 years of my precious life." After saying that, the little fat man picked up a frying pan, placed it on the stove, and casually took out a stone from his backpack. The stone immediately turned into a piece of butter and was thrown into the frying pan. Then, melt the butter and place the ribeye steak in the pan. Zzz, zzz. The pan made a fierce noise. Finally, the little fat man picked up a handful of hay and threw it into the pot, turning it into thyme and garlic. Instantly, the aroma of milk and meat merged with each other and slowly spread out. After a long time, a piece of fragrant golden ribeye steak was placed on the fat man's plate. He tied a scarf around his neck, held a knife and fork in his hand and was about to start eating. Bang! A sea ghost with bloody fangs instantly jumped onto the sailboat, making the already small sailboat even more crowded. The little fat boy was so frightened that he trembled and reached for the kitchen knife in panic. A man and a ghost just stared at each other. Ouch! The sea ghost rushed up, and the fat man slashed it with a knife. The sea ghost was severely cut, but no blood flowed out of the cut, but mayonnaise flowed out. The sea ghost was stunned. The little fat man trembled and stepped forward to stab the sea ghost a few more times before he killed it. In the blink of an eye, the stabbed sea ghost turned into a roasted whole lamb with mayonnaise. Ah! The fat boy, still frightened, immediately prepared to row away. 10 years is 10 years. My life is more important. I'm running away now. On the kayak. Child, go away. The old man spoke earnestly to the young man in front of him. It's only 10 years. Change your way of living and stop holding on. I'm 70 years old, no one would want me. But it's different for you, you're still young. The young man stood there in a daze. The old man looked at the young man with tears in his eyes and said, "Live a good life in the future and try to give birth to a big fat boy as soon as possible. When the time comes, just remember to burn some incense for me, the old man. It will be worth it, as we, the grandfather and grandson, will get to know each other." Ah! The young man hesitated to speak, looking at the sad-looking old man, not knowing whether he should say it or not. Old man, they've posted a notice saying that those over 50 years old with special professions and special skills are also accepted. What the hell are you waiting for? Hurry up. The old man jumped up and kicked the young man directly on the butt. Paddle quickly. We can finally reach land. I am so dizzy. You little bastard, why didn't you say so earlier? You didn't even ask. Stop talking nonsense. Row quickly. An old man and a young boy paddled a kayak towards their destination. Midair. Buzz. Buzz. A chubby little girl with a spinning four-leaf clover hanging on her back is now hugging her arms and frowning, as if she is thinking about something. Her panel was frozen on a person's handsome face. The man in the picture is fighting with the enemy. He is holding a spear in his hand and charging into the battle with great bravery. The little fat girl frowned, stared at the person in the picture, and nodded inexplicably. After a long time, Xiao Pengya finally made a decision. I made a decision. My future husband. You must wait for me. I will come and rescue you from the clutches of evil. Wait for me. Buzz. Buzz. After saying that, the four-leaf clover behind the little fat girl spun rapidly and flew away quickly. On the sailboat, many sea ghosts rushed forward and attacked the two people on the boat rapidly. A bald man was very skilled. He dealt with the sea ghost in front of him with 3 punches and 2 kicks, and immediately hurried back. I saw a young man with a weak face, holding a long knife, in a stalemate with a sea ghost and was about to be eaten by the sea ghost. Bang! The bald man smashed the sea ghost's head with 1 punch, and blood plasma exploded instantly. Thump! The young man immediately collapsed to the ground, and the long sword in his hand fell to the ground. He seemed to have lost all his energy and was barely able to breathe. Brother! The bald man stepped forward and helped the boy up, shouting anxiously. He casually took out half a bottle of fresh water and fed it to the boy, who then regained some of his spirits. Brother! I'm afraid I can't make it, please don't worry about me. The bald man's nose suddenly felt sore, and he consoled him, I'm not afraid, little brother. Big brother has a strong fist. We are not afraid of any monsters or demons. Hold on, big brother will take you to a good life. Brother, I'm afraid I won't live for another 10 years. Go by yourself and live well. The young man showed a happy expression as he said his final goodbye. I have my big brother. He won't let you die. Big brother is in good health. I'm not afraid of living 20 years less. From now on, we brothers will continue to live a good life. The bald man sent the boy into the cabin, then drove the sailboat and set sail immediately. Xiao Zhang, are you going to the floating island? No, I'm going to be a marine. The young and energetic Zhang Le rowed the boat alone, leaving the sailboat where the survivors gathered and heading towards the so-called Magic City naval base. Zhang Le looked at the sea in the distance, his face determined and his eyes full of fighting spirit. In this apocalypse, someone needs to step up and save everyone. It definitely won't be you. And it won't be me either. What I want to do is to become a member of justice and punish evil sinners like you. Lu Ming. Zhang Le clenched his fists and drove away. Pat. Bang. The late emperor had not yet completed his business, but... Hey, Lao Han. I really appreciate your boating skills. Fatty, stop talking nonsense and rescue them quickly. Quick, throw something down. A sailboat ruthlessly smashed the small boat, and before Zhang Le sank into the sea, he was rescued and put on board. Hey. CPR is useless, let's give artificial respiration. Old Han, come on. In a daze, Zhang Le seemed to see a fat man saving him. You are such a good person. I can't, my first kiss is still there. A young man with a long sword on his back was very determined. He hid aside and said to the girl with a ponytail and glasses next to him. Come here, Sister Yun. No, it's inconvenient for her. It's still me, Fatty, who has to sacrifice myself. Fatty, here I come. In a trance, the fat man pouted his lips and slowly approached Zhang Le. What is he going to do? What? How come he is getting closer and closer, he? Trojan horse. Vomit. Zhang Le suddenly stood up, lay on the deck and began to spit out seawater. Cough. Zhang Le immediately looked at the three people in front of him and asked blankly. What have you done to me? The young man holding the sword and the young woman with a long ponytail immediately looked at the fat man who was still hesitating. A little bit of leopard oyster. The fat man smiled and pouted. In an instant, a trace of confusion and despair flashed across Zhang Li's face. After a while, the previous part has already been turned over. Zhang Le also got to know everyone on the ship. Especially, the three people who saved him. My name is Zhao Bishan. The one playing with the sword is old Han Shizai. That pretty girl is my wife. Fatty Zhao Bishan was introducing himself and the other two to Zhang Le, but Yunxi pinched him on the waist. Ahem, this beautiful girl is Sister Yunxi Yun. The three of us are a perfect iron triangle. Zhang Le immediately thanked the three people. My name is Zhang Le, thank you for saving me. Where are you going? Lao Zhang, why are you sailing so fast? Zhao Bishan asked. If you don't operate the boat properly, your loved ones will shed tears. Zhang Le looked bitter, I don't have any relatives anymore. I was planning to join the navy, I wonder if you guys. Snapped. Zhao Bishan clapped his hands with an excited expression. Isn't this a coincidence? The three of us are also going to join the navy. It's all fate. How about the four of us go together? Hearing this, Zhang Le smiled calmly, okay. I'll trouble you to take care of me from now on. Judging from their eyes, these three people should be righteous people. Ha, I, Zhang Le, never walk alone. Lu Ming. You can't be so arrogant for too long. Justice may be late, but it will come. Yes, I, Zhang Le, have always believed it. Zhang Le clenched his fists tightly, his face was determined, and the fighting spirit in his eyes seemed to be bursting out. The four of them traveled together, sailing towards the naval base. Chapter 63 The Man Behind the Scenes. The New Generation. A miracle is coming. Magic City Naval Base. The old leader sat alone in the room, smoke coming out of his pipe. A voice came over the call. Old Shah, we understand your difficulties, but it is probably difficult for the capital to send combat forces to help you. We hope you understand, Now in Beijing, the young people are in power. The face of us old guys is useless in front of the new generation. Instead, we old guys have to look at the faces of these young people. Old Shah. Times have changed, and strength is the only thing that matters. The old leader remained silent. He certainly knows what the new generation is. After the end of the world, those young people who have the identity of the navy and the ability of the devil fruit quickly gathered into a political entity and quickly improved their status in the navy. Not only have they snatched away the rights that originally belonged to these old leaders, but they are also using their pathetic and ridiculous sense of justice to mess with the rule of law and justice. Even if some seniors make mistakes, we will not tolerate them and will deal with them seriously once confirmed. In the capital, many old colleagues have been sent to military courts and executed for violating discipline. How can these old guys, who are used to enjoying the benefits of the regime, sit still? Haha, these little bastards, they haven't even grown all their hair yet, and they're already trying to cause trouble. The old leader tapped the pipe in his hand. Humph, as long as I, Sha Qian, am here, the Demon City Navy will never be controlled by the new generation. Old buddy, you still have to control the power in your own hands. Even if it's not much, I still have 1 or 2 trump cards in my hand. Otherwise, we can also trade with those people. Hearing this, the person on the phone fell silent. Those people actually knew that doomsday would come a long time ago. The resources and combat power they have accumulated cannot even be described with the word horrible. The old leader said slowly, smoking a cigarette. If I could get in touch with them. Suddenly, the person on the phone yelled. Sha Qian, do you know what you are talking about? Do you still remember that you are a Daxia person? You are treasonous. I, Chu Qingqiu, would rather see Great Sha destroyed by the new generation than become a traitor. Hearing this, the old leader became displeased instantly and shouted angrily. Don't mention Da Sha to me. I have dedicated my whole life to Da Sha. Can't I even think about myself now? You think I am willing? If the situation hadn't forced me, why would I think this way? If this continues, the Demon City will change its surname to Lu. What can I do? I can't watch my life's hard work being destroyed by a brat. I will never. If that day really comes, Chu Qingqiu, please don't blame me. As he spoke, the old leader slowly exhaled a puff of smoke, and a hint of madness flashed in his old eyes. I am Sha Qian. I would rather give up my slaves than give up my friends. Beep. The call was ruthlessly hung up by the other party without even any response. Crunch. Navy officer Zhang Qifan walked in. Who let you in? The old leader shouted angrily. Zhang Qifan was stunned and said, Teacher, 4 people came and said they want to join us. Ahahaha, okay. God will not abandon me. God will not abandon me. The old leader laughed wantonly. Let's go and see them myself. With that, the 2 of them walked out of the room together. Round table meeting. There were 13 positions, but only 12 showed up. Everyone present had a different expression, and they were all waiting in silence for the protagonist to appear. Clap clap. A burly figure landed in the center seat. Everyone immediately stood up to greet him. I heard there's a little guy who's very interesting. The man spoke. The next person responded, it's nothing to worry about. Haha, the soul fruit, the float fruit, and the flame fruit. The man sat down and murmured with a slight smile. It's not bad, but it's still too small for our great country. Everyone, what do you think? Hearing this, the 12 people all sneered, and the scene became joyful for a moment. All right. Everyone immediately fell silent. Did you get the things back? The man asked. Not yet, but we already know who has it, but we can't do anything about it. One person responded. Then find someone who can do it. That thing is extremely important and cannot fall into the hands of others. Or, let him hand it over. I allow him to be a witness to the miracle. He will be grateful. The man stood up, raised his hands, looked at everyone and said loudly. Everyone, please remember, everything is for the coming of a miracle. Everyone stood up and responded respectfully. Everything is for the coming of a miracle. Chapter 64, Followers are everywhere. Hearts are broken. Recruitment begins. 7 days later. On the vast ocean, countless ships of various sizes are converging towards a common location. More and more sailboats and survivors gather together, waiting for the long-awaited moment. How do you drive this boat? Are you here for an interview too? Haha, me too. Hey, why can't I see the island? Is it too high? What should I do if I'm afraid of heights? You bastard, you were the one who robbed us last time. Die now. If you want to fight, go to the side and don't get in the way here. Quote. Nearly 100,000 survivors, along with their ships, gathered here at this moment, communicating and chatting with each other. Regardless of their identities or camps, at this moment they put aside their hostility and waited for the interview to come. The little fat boy Shen Dazhuang drove his small boat, quietly jumping over one large sailboat after another. Hey, whose boat is this? Can you move it? It's blocking the road, the fat boy Shen Dazhuang said unhappily. Brother, your boat is blocking the road. Please move. Thank you, Smekta. But no one responded. In desperation, the little fat boy Shen Dazhuang had to squat on his small boat and eat his homemade meat patties, which were greasy and fragrant. The many survivors nearby stared at him gnawing on the meat pie in his hand, and couldn't help drooling. But no one dared to snatch it. If it were a normal time, someone would have started to grab things, but doing so now would undoubtedly greatly reduce your interview score. We all came here as workers. Who doesn't know about interviews? It's just pretending. We've been waiting for a long time, when will the kneading start? The little fat man Shen Dazhuang was a little impatient. Not far away, a grandfather and grandson, and a pair of brothers, were also looking forward to the interview beginning. Old man, you haven't told me what you do. The young man sat in the raft and looked at the old man behind him in confusion. The old man snorted twice, showing the expression of a peerless master, and waved his hand to scold. Don't worry about it, as long as they are not blind, we grandparents will have a good life in the future. Just wait and see, our good days are coming. Hearing this, the young man began to fantasize about the good days in the future. Then I will have a big roasted chicken in my left hand and a braised pig's trotter in my right hand. That will be a wonderful life. HMPH, that's all you can do. Have you ever been to a state banquet? The old man said disdainfully. You have even attended a state banquet. Is that true? The young man showed a suspicious expression. Haha, who doesn't know me, Xie Chang'an? The old man was proud. The young man sighed, it's over. I really haven't heard of it. The big roast chicken is gone. You know nothing. You just haven't heard of it. If you had heard of it, you would. HMPH, just wait and see. The old man snorted and sat in the kayak with his arms folded, waiting for the interview to begin. I don't know who shouted in the crowd. Shit. It's coming. It's coming. It's appeared. Oh my god. A giant dragon. A giant dragon. It's time to judge my fate. Bless me and I will succeed. Quote. A giant dragon flapped its wings and slowly floated down from the sky, skimming over the sea and causing everyone to exclaim in surprise. Clap clap. The giant dragon slowly descended onto the sea and transformed into a huge ship, causing huge waves. This scene alone made everyone dizzy and dazed. TCH, what's so great about it? Shen Dazhuang, a little fat boy who was staring at the huge ship in a daze, suddenly heard a voice in his ears and looked up at the sky. I saw a chubby little girl with a four-leaf propeller on her back, holding it on her shoulders and floating in the air. Looking at the fat little face of the little fat girl, the fat boy Shen Dazhuang stared at her infatuatedly, as if he couldn't take his eyes away, and murmured. I didn't expect that there is such a beautiful woman in this world. The next moment, the little fat boy Shen Dazhuang picked up a few pieces of wood and immediately turned them into a roasted chicken. He waved his hand and a candy step rose into the air, just close to the little fat girl in the air. I used to think that Daji and Daoshan were the most beautiful women in the world, but I realized it only after I met you. It turns out that people can be this beautiful. The little fat boy Shen Dazhuang said attentively. His appearance and tone were very much like a gentleman, and he looked at the little fat girl with affection. Hello, this graceful beauty, may I ask for a freshly roasted chicken? Would you like some? But the little fat girl rolled her eyes at him and said unhappily. Stay away from me. You are not my type. I am already taken. Click. It was the sound of the fat boy Shen Dazhuang's heart breaking. I don't believe it. This must be the so-called test. It must be. The little fat boy Shen Dazhuang was stubborn and didn't want to leave, but the little fat girl turned around and left. Lu Ming and others stood on the giant ship, overlooking the people below. Driven by soul perception, Lu Ming could sense that there were many powerful people below, as well as many users with devil fruit abilities. The effect of this live broadcast is quite good. Then let's get started, Lu Ming murmured. Then, a terrifying spiritual pressure swept over everyone present like a tsunami. At this moment, nearly 100,000 survivors collapsed to the ground, shivering uncontrollably. A sense of fear from the soul began to spread, but there were also a few people who were directly frightened and convulsed by the pressure of the soul. What are you waiting for? Let's get started. After we seize the ship, we'll fight our way to the floating island. A voice sounded, and several different figures immediately rushed out from various places and rushed towards the giant ship. Navy, pirates, and bounty hunters. More than a dozen people attacked at the same time, and their target was naturally Lu Ming himself. Hee. Lu Ming smiled indifferently. A dozen assassins quickly rushed onto the giant ship. The next second, 12 flying knives appeared and formed a circle around Lu Ming. In an instant, 12 flying knives that could kill immortals burst out at the same time, flying freely in the space and cutting the body of each assassin. Thump, thump. More than a dozen assassins collapsed to the ground, screaming with shock and fear. Lu Ming raised his hand and took away their souls. Unbelievable. Okay, the clearing is over, now the recruitment begins. Lu Ming stretched out his hands wearing black gloves and waved them in front of him. Soon, a staircase made of air appeared in front of everyone. A series of air stairs eventually converged into a main road leading directly to the deck of the giant ship, and all the survivors lined up in an orderly manner for interviews. On the giant ship, a group of interviewers personally selected by Lu Ming, led by Chu Ling, were sitting in a row on the deck waiting for the survivors to arrive. With the first survivor, go up the steps. The largest on-site interview in the history of Shanghai begins now. Chapter 65 Eat the Fruit. Poor Yang Xuan, the lush fruit. A day and a night pass by in a flash. This interview is less than a third of the way through. Exclusive room. Lu Ming stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, looking at the densely packed survivors on the deck, the ice beer in his hand steaming. Crunch. Chu Ling walked in, holding the list of survivors who had just been selected. Boss, these are the people we just selected. Chu Ling handed the list to Lu Ming. Lu Ming waved his hand. No, as long as these people are willing to hand over enough souls, it doesn't matter who goes up and who goes down. Mainly because our supplies are limited, without relying on the store, we can only recruit these 10,000 people now. Not enough supplies and not enough land. This is our most difficult problem. Chu Ling said it in one sentence. Is there anyone with special abilities? Lu Ming asked. Have. Chu Ling nodded. I have already allowed people with special abilities to board the ship. Come on, let's go take a look. Randomly, the reception room on the giant ship. Crunch. Lu Ming pushed the door open and walked in. In front of him were 7 men and women of different sizes, sitting in their seats without saying a word. Hey, you must be Lu Ming. You damned fellow, quickly let my husband out. How dare you enslave my husband? Lu Ming was puzzled. Because I only heard the sound but didn't see the person. Where are you looking at? I'm here. Lu Ming then lowered his head, only to see a little fat girl looking at him angrily with her hands on her hips. Lu Ming smiled and reached out to touch the little fat girl's head. Whose child is this? Are her parents people with special abilities? Lu Ming turned and asked Chu Ling. Chu Ling shook her head and pointed at the little fat girl. She is the one with the ability. Lu Ming was stunned and looked at the little girl in front of him who was not very tall but as fat as a ball. Take your hands away. It's really rude to treat a lady like that. Lu Ming, take me to see my husband. I will forgive you for what you did just now. Lu Ming was confused. He turned stiffly to look at Chu Ling and asked in confusion. Who is her husband? Do I know him? Chu Ling's pretty face trembled, and she tried hard not to laugh out loud, and nodded with a smile. We know each other, very familiar. Someone has been sent to call him. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a creaking sound. The door of the conference hall was pushed open. Brother Lu, are you looking for me? Yang Xuan pushed the door open and looked at Lu Ming expectantly. Lu Ming stared at Yang Xuan blankly, unable to speak for a moment, so he had to look to Chu Ling for help. You're not kidding. Chu Ling shook his head. When Lu Ming looked at the little fat girl again, he saw that the little fat girl rushed directly towards Yang Xuan. Ah, my future husband. Ah, I finally see you. You're even more handsome in person than in the live stream. Under Yang Xuan's horrified gaze, the little fat girl rushed up, and with her came the little fat boy Shen Dazhuang. Base. The two little fat guys rushed towards him together, scaring Yang Xuan so much that he jumped. Instinctively, the bone spear in his hand immediately appeared, and he was on guard against the two little fat guys in front of him. What are you doing here? Guo Dazhuang, I've told you so many times, you're not my type. This is my future husband, please stop pestering me, I'm afraid my husband will misunderstand. As she said that, the little fat girl was about to go up and hug Yang Xuan's arm, but was pushed back by Yang Xuan, who had a terrified look on his face and was holding a bone spear. Shen Dazhuang looked angry and said to the little fat girl. No, I don't accept it. How am I any worse than this skinny guy? I am also a person with special abilities. Why did you choose him instead of me? I don't accept it. I don't accept it. Shen Dazhuang turned to look at Yang Xuan, then raised his head and looked at him seriously. Let's duel. Let's have a one-on-one duel to decide the winner. Let's see which of us is qualified and worthy of this peerless beauty. Yang Xuan was at a loss. Lu Ming was puzzled, looked at Chu Ling and asked. Is this little fat guy also a person with special abilities? Yes. Chu Ling nodded and responded. Lu Ming stepped forward, pinched the little fat boy's face, and consoled him. There's no rush for the duel. What are your names? When the little fat boy Shen Dazhuang saw Lu Ming, his expression immediately turned into one of admiration and humility. You are the bounty hunter, brother Lu Minglu, right? My name is Guo Dazhuang, I'm 14 years old. The user of the superhuman Qi fruit. Please take good care of me in the future. Hearing this, everyone in the conference room looked at the fat boy Guo Dazhuang, with a hint of shock in their eyes. If it were any other fruit, it wouldn't matter. The key point is that this is a fruit that can turn everything in the world into food. With him, you will have unlimited supplies in the future. Not only Lu Ming, but even the usually indifferent little fatty looked at Guo Dazhuang with a little more respect in her eyes. From now on, I will treat this place as my home. Lu Ming said while looking at Guo Dazhuang with a smile. Okay, okay. Guo Dazhuang was very excited. What about you, little fatty? Lu Ming looked at little fatty. The chubby girl snorted proudly. My name is Ji Yuhe, not some little fat girl. Okay, little fatty. Hey, husband, look at him, who is the little fat girl? Ji Yuhe looked at Yang Xuan and complained. Yang Xuan shuddered and turned pale. He immediately hid behind Lu Ming and muttered silently. You can't see me, you can't see me. Ji Yuhe put her hands on her hips and looked at Lu Ming proudly. I am the user of the nature-type Mori Mori fruit. She's not some little fat girl. Hearing this, Lu Ming was overjoyed and immediately said. You must stay. Go be a mascot for the agriculture group. Ji Yuhe was about to refuse, but heard Lu Ming say. I'll let Yang Xuan take you there personally. Then let's make it a deal, my beloved brother Lu. Ji Yuhe immediately waved his chubby little hands and said happily. Yang Xuan looked at Lu Ming in shock, his face full of disbelief, and he was completely stunned. Yang Xuan, thank you for your hard work. Take our Ji Yuhe to the agriculture group to find Professor Lu Weinong. Lu Ming didn't even dare to look at Yang Xuan's expression. He went straight to Guo Dazhuang and whispered. Go to the supplies group, which is right next to the agricultural group. Your success or failure depends on your own efforts. Let me tell you, girls like hardworking boys. Lu Ming gave him a look that said, you know what I mean. Chu Ling on the side rolled her eyes at him silently, unable to complain in her heart. That's what you like, my boss Lu. Guo Dazhuang seemed to have found a life mentor, and looked at Lu Ming with eyes full of admiration. Is it true, brother Lu? You'll be right if you listen to me. Lu Ming patted his shoulder. All right, just wait and see. Guo Dazhuang nodded, full of fighting spirit. Chu Ling was completely speechless. You two really have the courage to teach and the courage to believe. I'm really convinced. Lu Ming turned and looked at the rest of the people. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 66, Polygraph. Hard to get a household registration. Strange fruit. At this moment, Lu Ming was meeting with other people with special abilities. And the recruitment on deck is still going on. Pat. The bald man Lei Yu and his younger brother Lei Chuan had just boarded the ship. After waiting in line for a whole day and night, it was finally their turn. Lei Yu looked at his weak-looking brother excitedly. Little brother, it's almost our turn. Our good days will come. But the younger brother Lei Chuan was not so optimistic. He forced a smile, looked at his elder brother and nodded. Bang! A loud noise was heard in front, and a middle-aged man and a woman appeared, and they started arguing with the interviewer. Why are we unqualified? But they are qualified. This is not fair. That's right. I think you just want to take advantage of me. Stop dreaming. We are going to file a complaint against you. Right. Come and take a look. Why are we unqualified? They are all lying. Quote. The couple smashed the interviewer's table in a defiant manner, which made the young interviewer very angry. He trembled but did not dare to fight back. Just at this time, bang! Chief Wu descended from the sky and, with a powerful iron mountain kick, knocked the two troublemakers away. Why don't you open your eyes and look at this place? Chief Wu snorted coldly, then sent someone forward to take away all the souls of the two men in front of everyone. Look carefully. If you dare to cause trouble again, this will be your fate. Chief Wu shouted angrily at everyone on the spot, scaring all the survivors into silence. Even the brothers Lei Yu and Lei Chuan pursed their lips and looked at each other with panic in their eyes. Then, Chief Wu picked up a round crystal ball and held it in his hand for everyone to see. It's all taken care of. This is the latest product from the industrial group. It's a soul crystal ball that can detect whether you are lying or not. As long as you lie about a question, the crystal ball will be able to detect your soul fluctuations. So, for those who want to go to the island, you should all think about how to answer. If you dare to act unreasonably again, I will take away your souls and throw them into the sea to feed the sharks. After saying that, Chief Wu, with a group of survivors and yellow-turbaned strongmen behind him, began to maintain order at the scene. Continue the interview. Soon, the decks were cleared and the interview continued. You're full of lies. You don't look like a good person at first glance. Unqualified. Next one. A young interviewer was furious. He had just sent away an old lady who was full of lies, and then he looked at the next person. This young man was originally a meteorologist on a giant ship, but after the floating island appeared, he became extremely embarrassed as a meteorologist. In order to avoid being eliminated, to be able to hold on to the thigh of his boss tightly, and to obtain a residence permit on the floating island as soon as possible, he strived to become an interviewer. On the floating island, you can only settle down on the floating island and become a resident if you work hard and accumulate a certain level of contribution value. The same is true for the survivors being interviewed now. Spending 10 years of your life is a necessary condition for living on the island. Going to the island does not mean you become a resident of the floating island. Only when you obtain a household registration on the floating island can you be considered a true resident of the floating island. If you want to get a floating island account, you must have a job. Because working not only allows you to earn points for daily shopping, but also earns you a contribution point. God knows who came up with the policy of allowing contribution value to settle on the floating island. Contribution value is the standard for judging a person on a floating island. It's high, it deserves commendation. It's low, goodbye see. Fortunately, those who got on board early and have a skill do not need to spend another 10 years of their life to settle down. However, the treatment for settling down is the same, so if you don't work hard, sooner or later you will be replaced by newcomers, and in the end you won't even be qualified to go to the island. Hello, next one. The young interviewer adjusted his mood. A young man with shifty eyes sat down in front of him and immediately handed him a bag of sea ghost crystals. Base. The young interviewer stood up with a pale face and screamed. You want to hurt me? Don't shout, brother. I see you're working hard. The boy smiled flatteringly and helped the interviewer to his seat. This is to comfort you, please don't be offended. The young interviewer threw his hand away, looked at him warily, and said seriously. Let me tell you, this is what our boss hates the most. Put it up quickly, or get out. Hearing this, the boy was stunned. He had to put the things away dejectedly and looked at the interviewer with a smile. I was wrong, brother. I just wanted to make progress too much. Humph. Stop talking nonsense, let's start the interview. Remember to tell the truth. Okay, I'm the most honest person. Have you ever betrayed your companions? No, absolutely not. Ding. The soul crystal ball flashed red light rapidly. That's a lie. Deduct 1 point. The young interviewer looked disdainful and then made a big mark on the boy's resume. The boy's face turned pale, and he looked at the crystal ball in shock. He never expected that this thing was so sharp. Do you have a history of killing innocent survivors? The young interviewer asked again. No, I'm so kind, how could that be possible? Ding. The soul crystal ball flashed red light rapidly. That's a lie. Another point deduction. The young man's face was pale and cold sweat kept pouring down his forehead. Are you? No, absolutely not. Ding. It's still a lie. Deduct 1 more point. Are you? This time it's really gone. Ding. It's still a lie. There's not a single word of truth in it. Quote. Full of lies. Unqualified. Next one. The boy sighed helplessly and left his seat dejectedly. Seeing this, Lei Yu and Lei Chuan couldn't help but swallow their saliva. Could they really pass such a rigorous interview? Which of you two will go first? The young interviewer glanced at the names of Lei Yu and Lei Chuan on the resume and immediately realized that they were brothers. Lei Yu took a step forward, ready to set an example for his younger brother. Let's start. The young interviewer started asking questions again. There were about 20 or 30 questions in total, and it was finished very quickly. After the end, the young interviewer glanced at the unresponsive crystal ball and nodded with satisfaction. Great, you passed. Lei Yu was overjoyed and quickly stood up and shook hands with the young man to express his gratitude. The young interviewer looked at Lei Yu's honest expression and felt a little favorable towards him. He reminded him. Here's a piece of advice for you. Don't think everything will be fine once you get to the island. Find a job on the island as soon as possible. If you miss this opportunity, you'll never get it again. If you regret it later, don't blame me for not reminding you. Okay, next one. Hearing this, Lei Yu excitedly bowed to the young interviewer, then gave up his seat to his younger brother Lei Chuan. The young interviewer asked the same question. But, have you ever eaten a devil fruit? No. Ding. The soul crystal ball suddenly flashed red light rapidly. The young interviewer, Lei Yu and Lei Chuan were all shocked. Someone. Law enforcement team. There's someone with hidden abilities here. In an instant, a 3-meter-tall tiger suddenly appeared and surrounded them together with Chief Wu, Chu Yang, and dozens of yellow turban forces. The young interviewer immediately hid aside. Click. The yellow turban warriors immediately drew their swords against each other. The two brothers Lei Yu and Lei Chuan looked nervous and at a loss. Wu Chu walked up, looked at the interviewer and asked. What's going on? Who's causing trouble? The young interviewer held the still glowing soul crystal ball and quickly explained. Then, Chief Wu and Chu Yang looked at Lei Chuan cautiously. Which group are you from, brother? A person with special abilities pretending to be an ordinary person. Are you here to mess things up? Chief Wu shouted coldly at Lei Chuan. The two brothers Lei Yu and Lei Chuan looked at each other blankly and shook their heads. I don't know. Neither of us has ever eaten one. Besides, we don't even know what a devil fruit is. The two brothers explained quickly. Chief Wu walked forward suspiciously and found that the crystal ball was still flashing. There's no point in resisting. You can't fake this. If you're honest, we can sit down and talk it out. But if you insist on pretending, then we'll have to fight it out. After hearing what Wu Chu said, the two brothers became more nervous, but they had never seen any devil fruit before. When a tsunami hit, the two men fainted. After waking up, the two brothers floated on the sea, relying on killing sea ghosts and exchanging supplies in the store to survive. Can you show me what a devil fruit is? Lei Chuan, the calmer of the two brothers, looked at Chief Wu and asked. Upon hearing this, Chief Wu and Chu Yang looked at each other. Ding! Wu Chu took a screenshot of the devil fruit on the panel and showed it to Lei Chuan. The moment the two brothers saw the fruit, they were instantly excited. The elder brother Lei Yu said angrily. That's it. I know. It was in a box I found on the sea. After I opened it, it was white but had no lines on it. Speaking of it, Lei Yu lowered his head in self-blame, his face full of regret. My little brother was starving at the time, so I gave it to him. But who would have known that after he ate that crap, his health got worse day by day. It's all my fault that your body is in this state. Lei Chuan patted his eldest brother on the shoulder and comforted him. It's okay, brother. I'm still alive. Wu Chu and Chu Yong looked at the crystal balls in their hands again and found that what the two people said was true. How to do? I don't know either. It's my first time encountering this. Then let's find Lao Wang. I can see it. Soon, Wang Yongjun, led by the yellow turban warriors, rushed over, holding a bottle of wine in his hand, and asked impatiently. What is it? Can't you two solve it? I'm busy right now. Seeing this, Chief Wu and Chu Yong told him the whole story. What to do? Wu Chief Chu Yong looked at Lao Wang and asked. Wang Yongjun was stunned and murmured. A white devil fruit without any lines. It's the first time I've heard of it, too. I know what to do. Why don't you two do it yourself? As he said this, Wang Yongjun was about to run, but was stopped by two people. The three of them huddled together and finally came up with a solution. Lao Wang stood up, took a sip of wine, pointed at Lei Yu and Lei Chuan and said. You are my brother, right? Yes. The two responded in unison. The three of them looked at the crystal ball and saw that it was the truth. One of you will follow me, and the other will follow the main force. Before leaving, Lao Wang lowered his head and said to Chief Wu. I'll take this kid to the captain. You two keep an eye on the other one. The two nodded knowingly and immediately understood what the other meant. Regardless of whether that kid has any problems or not. Let's take control of his elder brother first. Afterwards, under the guidance of Lao Wang, Lei Chuan met Lu Ming who had just finished a meeting. After hearing the whole story, Lu Ming's face turned extremely gloomy. Devil fruit. White, no lines. Lu Ming sat on the sofa, looking at the weak-looking Lei Chuan in front of him, and felt an inexplicable chill coming from all directions. The legend turned out to be true. Lu Ming looked at Lei Chuan, a hint of disbelief flashing in his eyes. Chapter 67 White World. The starting point of rebirth. The mysterious old man. Don't you feel any changes in your body? Lu Ming looked at Lei Chuan with a complicated expression. Variety. Lei Chuan shook his head blankly. I don't feel anything. I just feel that my body is getting worse day by day, getting weaker and weaker, as if I haven't recovered from a bad cold yet. Lu Ming remained silent with a frown on his face. Lao Wang, who was standing beside him, also had a gloomy expression on his face. He walked forward and asked in a low voice. Is it troublesome? Do you want to? There was a flash of murderous intent in Lao Wang's eyes. Lu Ming waved his hand, shook his head to indicate that it was not necessary, looked up at Lei Chuan and waved. Come on, close your eyes. Relax, don't resist, I won't hurt you. When Lei Chuan approached, Lu Ming stepped forward and placed his hand on Lei Chuan's forehead. Then the two of them closed their eyes, and their soul power slowly merged into Lei Chuan's mind. Su. As Lu Ming's soul power invaded little by little, Lei Chuan felt as if a pair of gentle hands were caressing his soul. Suddenly, a white light flashed in front of Lu Ming's eyes. Pure white. Without a trace of impurities, it is dazzling, cleansing the soul and soothing the mind. Lu Ming was also dragged into a flawless, vast and boundless world by this white force. White. All white. Endless white. The vast expanse of white. At this moment, the one who appeared in front of Lu Ming. It is a world made up of white. In this world, white is a concept, an existence. It is a single mustard seed, it is an infinite Mount Sumeru. Those who have abandoned me will suffer more in the future. It is real, and also false. Question mark. White. It's white. ... Everything seems to be occupied in the world of white, where all other colors are heresy. Even Lu Ming's self-consciousness, which was condensed by the power of his soul, was gradually infected by white, and Lu Ming's limbs began to slowly turn white. In a trance, the center of infinite whiteness. It seemed as if there was a figure watching him silently. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and mobilized all his soul power, rushing towards the endless white. However, the closer he got to the center of this world, the faster Lu Ming was infected by the white. Lu Ming tried his best to resist with all his soul power, but the soul power of level 1 was like a phantom in front of Bai. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and used all his soul power to fly towards the center, but at this moment his soul power was being consumed rapidly at an extremely terrifying speed, and he saw that the soul power he had accumulated for a long time was about to be consumed. Looking at the figure that was about to be touched, I felt an urgent urge to chase it for some reason. It seems like there is a voice telling me that if I miss this opportunity, I will regret it for the rest of my life. Make up one's mind. Lu Ming finally decided to use the trump card he had been hiding. Combustion. 1,000 years of soul life. Big Mom once used this move to fight Kid-in-law, but it only took her a year. All the souls Lu Ming currently has were accumulated bit by hunting enemies since the end of the world. Of course, some of them have been used up. But this time, Lu Ming consumed nearly 1/10 of his entire soul reserves. The next moment, a soul fire ignited on Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body emitted a bright light and he immediately flew towards the center of the world. 1,000 meters, 500 meters, 300 meters. Close, close. At last. Only 100 meters left. Bite was quietly devouring the soul fire in Lu Ming's body. The soul fire was extinguishing at a speed visible to the naked eye. 50 meters. 30 meters. Lu Ming was shocked, roared, and rushed forward with the last bit of soul fire. 10 meters. I see. I finally saw it. Lu Ming was overjoyed, but his expression instantly changed from surprise to shock, panic, and confusion. I only see the center of white. Nothing. Only one. An old man with white hair and beard was sitting cross-legged, looking at him with a smile, a white whisk floating leisurely in his hand. Looking at the old man, Lu Ming was dumbfounded and couldn't say a word. At this moment, he just felt as if he was facing the majestic sky. How small are ants? How big is the sky? The old man sitting there is like the sky above, vast and majestic, and also like the dome of the universe, eternal and vast. At this moment, Lu Ming truly felt. What is the grandeur and greatness of life? What is the humbleness and insignificance of life? Lu Ming thought that he had become strong enough since his rebirth. As long as he continued to develop, one day he would become the person he looked up to in his previous life. Level 9 Emperor. But at this moment, Lu Ming seemed to understand. It turns out that level 9 is just a ticket to meet the powerful. Rebirth is the starting point. Such a thought suddenly emerged in Lu Ming's mind. Question mark. Not bad. Not bad. Question mark. I realized it so quickly. A voice suddenly sounded in Lu Ming's ears, but before Lu Ming could speak, the old man waved the whisk in his hand. The fire of Lu Ming's soul dissipated in an instant. At this moment, Lu Ming felt the greatness of existence and the insignificance of life in the old man. Blah blah blah. The old man tapped Lu Ming's forehead lightly. Then the old man waved the whisk in his hand, and Lu Ming felt as if he, an ant, was stepped on by the sky. Boom. Souls are shattered and consciousness is destroyed. Lu Ming felt like he was exiled in the universe. Puff. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Lu Ming felt as if he was slapped in the face by God. He collapsed to the ground, his mind dispirited. Captain. Seeing this, Old Wang was shocked. He immediately stepped forward to help Lu Ming up, then glared at Lei Chuan angrily. What did you do? You wanna die? The sudden change scared Lei Chuan so much that he was at a loss. He didn't know why this happened. He trembled as he looked at Wang Yongjun's angry face. Snapped. Lu Ming held on to his last bit of consciousness, comforted Lao Wang, and stopped him. No. It's okay. I did it myself. Don't blame him. Lu Ming forced a smile towards Lei Chuan. Welcome to my team. Shall we sign the contract first? Okay, okay. Hearing this, Lei Chuan nodded repeatedly as if he had escaped death. Soon, the two signed the soul contract. The contract had more than a dozen clauses than that of ordinary people, but Lei Chuan didn't look at it carefully. As long as he and his elder brother could live a good life, nothing else mattered. After signing the contract, Lu Ming's pale face finally showed a hint of color and he breathed a sigh of relief. Your name is Lei Chuan, right? If you have any special skills, I can arrange a job for you. I'll help you through the back door. Lu Ming's face was full of smiles. Hearing this, Lei Chuan instantly became excited and said excitedly. I can cook. Our family has inherited the craft. My eldest brother and I have always wanted to open a restaurant. Mapo tofu and twice cooked pork are my specialties. Hearing this, Lu Ming and Wang Yongjun fell silent. Lu Ming looked at Lao Wang and said with a forced smile. And, arrange it and find him a place on the island. Open Sichuan restaurant. Open a Sichuan restaurant. Tell the supply team if you need anything. Thank you, boss, you are such a good person. Lu Ming grinned and waved his hand with a very forced smile, waiting until Lei Chuan was sent away. Puff. After another mouthful of blood, Lu Ming felt that his soul was on the verge of collapse. After checking it out, I was shocked. Shit, how come I only have 100 years of soul life left? Lu Ming's face turned even paler. Lao Wang asked with a worried look on his face. What on earth happened? It's okay, it's okay. This guy called Lei Chuan and his big brother, please keep an eye on them. We can count on them in the future. Remember, poof. Captain, can you please help me? I'll call the medical team. Catch 2 pirates, I need souls. Souls, poof. I'll go right away, just hold on. Puff. Chapter 68 Liquid Soul. Devil and Hash 039, S. Will. Wonderful. Pat. Under the soul intimidation, several vicious pirates had their souls forcibly taken away by Lu Ming, and became corpses, falling to the ground. Call. Lu Ming closed his eyes tightly and took a long breath. His pale face finally regained a hint of color. Seeing that Lu Ming was safe and sound, Chuling and Wang Area, who had rushed over after hearing the news, finally breathed a sigh of relief. The old king waved to the yellow-turbaned strongman behind him, and carried away the pirate's body on the ground and threw it into the sea to feed the sharks. Slowly opening his eyes, Lu Ming checked his existing soul and was shocked. Why hasn't the soul power increased at all? Lu Ming was stunned. Lu Ming didn't know whether everything that happened in that strange white world was real, but at this moment, something was really wrong with his soul. The pirate soul he had just absorbed was like a drop in the ocean. After it merged into his own soul, the soul that was supposed to grow did not change at all. But after careful perception, Lu Ming was stunned. Wrong. It's not that there is no growth, but too thin. Compared with his current soul concentration, these soul powers are too thin. It is so thin that it cannot be detected without careful perception. It can almost be said to be negligible. It can even be ignored. If the previous state of my soul power was a bunch of misty gas, then the current state of my soul can be said to be a pool of clear, clean, bottomless liquid water. Just this slight transformation from mist to liquid consumed nearly 10,000 years of Lu Ming's soul life. Of course, 1,000 years of that was the result of burning for power. Lu Ming had a bitter look on his face as he looked at his soul, which had become more condensed but had shortened to just 100 years. He didn't know whether this change was a blessing or a curse. Forget it, let's take a step by step. Lu Ming sighed, but when he recalled what had just happened, he felt it was unreal. Now I can't even recall what the old man looked like in that white world. It seems to be there and not there, vague and hazy, making people feel like it is a dream, and it feels extremely unreal. Lu Ming raised his head and looked at everyone in the room, but the moment he looked up, he was stunned. I seem to see something. What is that on you? The world in front of Lu Ming seemed different from before. There were 3 people in front of him. Except for Lao Wang, there is no change. But Chuling and Wang Area's souls were like a ball of slime, with the fire of life burning continuously and shaking from time to time. In addition to their soul-like slimes, there was a layer of black shadow covering their souls, which seemed to be entangled with the slime and tightly entangled. Especially, Wang Area. Lu Ming stared at Wang Area, staring at the black shadow swaying above her soul, or rather, it was the black shadow above Wang Area's soul, staring at Lu Ming at this moment. That is, a blue-black bird. It had sharp eyes, emerald green eyes that sparkled with a faint light, and it kept looking at him, its eyes filled with longing. Boss, don't look at me like that, my dad is still here. Wang Area blushed a little, Chu Ling's face sank, and old Wang also coughed strangely. Cough cough. Well, if you're okay, we'll be leaving. Take good care of your injuries and don't think about those useless things. After comforting them, Lao Wang took the 2 of them away, leaving Lu Ming alone in the room to recuperate. In Noda's room, Lu Ming sat there quietly, unable to come back to his senses for a long time. Lu Ming looked confused, as if he recalled those words that he had ignored for a long time. The devil fruit of the animal type carries its own will. A conversation between the 5 elders in the One Piece manga. This thought flashed through my mind, and then thousands of other thoughts emerged. Lu Ming immediately took out all the devil fruits in his hands. Kill 3 pirates Zhu Zigui and obtain 4 devil fruits. Kill bounty hunters Guan Zhang and Ruan Liang, and obtain another devil fruit. Now, Lu Ming has 5 unidentified devil fruits in his hands. The next second, 5 unidentified devil fruits were quietly placed in front of Lu Ming. Lu Ming looked carefully and found that it was no different from when he obtained the devil fruit before. Appraisal. Lu Ming stretched out his hand towards the 5 devil fruits and whispered. Bounty hunter's only talent, item identification. In an instant, the identification was completed, and Lu Ming looked up. At this moment, what appeared before his eyes were no longer 5 devil fruits, but 5 living souls. 5 souls, 5 black figures, were wailing and roaring towards the devil fruit that was residing in them. A cow, a giant centipede, a monkey, a cat, and a saw-toothed creature shaped like a whale. Lu Ming looked dejected. He leaned back on the sofa, staring at his hands in a daze. An unrealistic thought suddenly appeared in my mind and could not be shaken off. Lu Ming smiled bitterly, forced himself to suppress the thought, and looked intently at the first devil fruit. Item: devil fruit. Name: Animal series cow fruit black and white cow form. Abilities: milk production, healing, and recovery of physical strength. Closing square bracket. Niu fruit, I give you life. Lu Ming said in a low voice. A faint trace of soul power emerged from Lu's hand and merged with the Niu fruit. In an instant, a bright light burst out, and then it dissipated. A fat black and white cow appeared in the house, shaking its head at Lu Ming, then walked up to him and licked his hand affectionately with its tongue. Bronze level Homit's cow. Level: none. Species: Animal series cow fruit black and white cow shape. Abilities: milk production, healing, recovery of physical strength. Lu Ming said calmly in his heart, as expected, but the matter has been settled. He had no choice but to move forward step by step. As for the outcome, he could only do his best and leave it to fate. Then he reached out his hand and stroked the cow's hairy head. Suddenly thinking of something, Lu Ming smiled and said to the cow, "Go to the animal husbandry group, so you can breed and produce milk in the future." Hearing this, the cow's body trembled, and it stared at Lu Ming with its big eyes with an expression of unwillingness to believe. Obedient. After all, beef is not tasty. Lu Ming stroked the cow and said with a smile. But in the eyes of the cows, Lu Ming at this moment is more terrifying than the devil. Afterwards, Lu Ming continued to enlighten the remaining 4 devil fruits. Soon, a calico cat, a golden monkey, a giant 10-meter-long centipede, and a huge mosasaur that was more than 10 meters long appeared in front of him one by one. Due to their huge sizes, in the desperate eyes of the 2 beasts, the giant centipede was sent to the agricultural group to plow the soil, and the mosasaurus was sent to the aquaculture group. As for what they would do, it was still to be discussed by the people in the aquaculture group. Only the good-looking calico cat and golden monkey were left by Lu Ming as pets for everyone. After verifying his guess, Lu Ming leaned weakly on the sofa, looking at the sky through the window, his eyes flickering, not knowing what he was thinking. ... White world. It is still white, endless white. In the vast Tabai sky, the old man twirled his beard, waved his whisk, and nodded. The corners of his mouth slightly raised, and finally he opened his lips and murmured. Edge. It is truly amazing. As soon as he finished speaking, the old man also merged into the white color and became a part of white. Chapter 69 Recruitment is over. The 4 members of the Luo family. What we saw on the island. This grand recruitment and selection has finally come to an end. Due to the addition of Guo Dazhuang, the user of the Chi fruit, the number of selected people was increased from the original 1 to 3, which made many survivors who were not selected feel regretful. But the interview team revealed a piece of inside information to them, that after these 3 people have been arranged in 3 months, the next round of recruitment and selection might begin. This rekindled the extinguished fire of hope in many people's hearts. As Longshong took off into the air, batches of survivors were sent to the floating island 10,000 meters above the ground. When the first batch of 5,000 survivors landed, many of them immediately lay on the ground with tears in their eyes, holding the black soil in their hands, extremely moved. Soon, with the assistance of many yellow turban warriors, the survivors who landed on the island were settled in an orderly manner, waiting for the arrival of follow-up personnel. Not far away, there were temporary wooden houses of varying sizes, but enough for 30,000 people, and in the center of the floating island, there was a central building built by more than 10,000 yellow turban warriors, which was gradually rising layer by layer. Fortunately, with the floating fruit, all kinds of heavy materials can be floated at any time using the power, which greatly speeds up the construction process. Soon, 30,000 survivors finally arrived on the island in batches and gathered in an open space outside the wilderness, talking excitedly and passionately. For a moment, the scene was extremely lively. "Mom, Mom, that's my dad and the others. Where are they? Dad, big brother. Hi, we are here." A little girl with two ponytails pulled the middle-aged woman and shouted to a middle-aged man and a young man in the crowd. In an instant, the family of 4 reunited on the floating island. The middle-aged man is named Luo Chengji. He and his wife Li Shouwan have been ordinary workers all their lives. The family of 4 includes the eldest son Luo Wu and the younger girl Luo Qian. Needless to say, the family of 4 is very wealthy, but living a good life is nothing. But unexpectedly, a tsunami broke the original peaceful life. In the past few months, his family of 4 drifted on the sea, relying on Luo Chengji and his son Luo Wu to fight desperately with the sea ghosts that might appear at any time, and barely survived, but from time to time they had to be wary of those survivors with bad intentions. Fortunately, the middle-aged Luo Chengji always kept a careful eye on everything, so he was not deceived by those survivors. Perhaps it was God's blessing that the family managed to survive until today. Now that they have reached the island alive, they no longer have to worry about the days ahead, as they had to live on the edge of a knife every day. "That's great, little sister. Mom, I finally found you. We thought this might be a scam. My dad and I were worried." Luo Wu whispered with lingering fear. Snapped. The middle-aged man Luo Chengji immediately slapped Luo Wu on the back of his head and scolded him. "What nonsense are you talking about? There are so many people here. If someone hears us, we will all have to leave the island." "Ha ha ha, big brother, you're just being rude," the little girl Luo Qian said with a smile. At this time, the middle-aged woman Li Shouwan covered her face and burst into tears. "That's great. From now on, our family won't have to worry anymore, Wu." "Hey, why are you crying?" The middle-aged man Luo Chengji rolled his eyes at her. "What do you know?" The middle-aged woman Li Shouwan angrily scolded. "You and Xiaowu have to kill those monsters every day. I am worried every day, afraid that something bad will happen to you too. The last time that group of pirates robbed, they took a fancy to Xiaochen, and you two fought desperately with them. If no one helped, our family would have died long ago." Hearing this, the whole family fell silent. There are so many cases of escaping death like this. "Hey, don't mention it." The middle-aged man Luo Chengji touched his eyes with emotion. Suddenly, someone shouted, "Luo Chengji's family. Is Luo Chengji and his family here?" Hearing this, the family of 4 immediately perked up, and the middle-aged man Luo Chengji immediately shouted, "Here, here, here. Our family of 4 is all here." The middle-aged man Luo Chengji immediately rushed forward with his family. Sitting on the seats lined up side by side were the staff of the logistics team, while the law enforcement team and a group of yellow turban warriors were standing guard on the side. One of the staff members of the logistics team waved his hand and shouted, "Is this Luo Chengji's family?" "Here, here." The family of 4 quickly squeezed out of the crowd and walked forward under the envious gazes of others. "Hello, hello, I'm Luo Chengji, and this is my wife, son, and daughter." Luo Chengji, a middle-aged man, lowered his head and looked at the staff, rubbing his hands nervously. "Luo Chengji's family of 4, right. Take these 4 cards and go over there to pay for your souls, and then someone will take you to allocate housing," the staff member said, handing him the 4 cards. Okay, over there, right. Thank you, thank you." Luo Chengji carefully took the 4 cards. Special material, with 4 numbers written on it. 3463, 3464, 3465, 3466. After Luo Chengji distributed the remaining 3 cards to his family members, he walked towards the place where souls were to be paid. I saw a wooden house with many people queuing at the door. On the other side were people coming out with relaxed looks on their faces, as if nothing was a big deal. Seeing this, Luo Chengji and his family breathed a sigh of relief. Soon, Luo Chengji's family arrived, and Luo Wu was the first to step forward. "Dad, I'll go first. You stay here, let me, your old man, go first." Luo Chengji took all the initiative and walked into the wooden house first. A round slime was placed quietly on the table, with guards on both sides. Luo Chengji stepped forward, only to see the slime stretch out its tentacles and pat Luo Chengji on the forehead. Pat. A small ball of light was taken out from his forehead and thrown into the basket full of small balls of light behind him. "Okay, you can go. Go out and turn left to the housing allocation center." The Crow Tengu guard at the side looked solemn and spoke in a low voice. Silver level Homit's Crow Tengu guard. Species: Crow. Ability: Ordinary spearmanship. Closing square bracket. In order to protect the soul slime, Lu Ming specially selected a group of Crow Tengu and promoted them from bronze level to silver level. His abilities and combat power increased more than tenfold, and most importantly, he could speak human language. This made Lu Ming very pleased. "Oh, okay, thank you." Luo Chengji stared blankly at the crow-headed Yatengu, then walked out of the house, only to find that it was not as scary as he had thought before. A look of relief immediately appeared on his face, and he gestured to Luo Wu who was about to go in, and Luo Wu felt relieved. 10 minutes later, Luo Chengji and his family of 4 followed the staff and came to the rows of wooden houses. "Since you are a family of 4, we will give you a slightly larger cabin." Chu Yong walked on the road with 4 people. He was just passing by, but when he saw this happy family of 4, he suddenly wanted to take them to allocate houses. Crunch. The door of a wooden house was pushed open, revealing a wooden house of nearly 20 square meters with 4 beds, but it looked extremely clean and tidy. This wooden house is a temporary residence now. Once the first batch of communities are completed, it will be distributed according to your contribution value and family members. Chu Yong explained. Luo Chengji waved his hands excitedly and explained, "This is already very good. We don't have to float on the sea anymore. As for bathing and toilets, a public bathing and toilet have been temporarily built in front. You need to buy your own meals. There is a cafeteria in front, as well as a market for the logistics team. As long as you have points, you can buy anything." Chu Yong explained. "Really? I can't still take a shower?" The little girl Luo Qian said excitedly to Chu Yong. Chu Yong smiled and nodded. "Yes, the first shower is free, and you get a set of clean clothes afterward, but showers after that cost 20 points per person." "Mom, we can take a shower now." The little girl Luo Qian excitedly pulled her mother Li Shouwan and said excitedly. "What are you yelling for? You're just a little girl." Luo Chengji scolded, then looked at Chu Yong and thanked him. "Thank you, young man. I really don't know what to say. Thank you, thank you." Luo Chengji grabbed Chu Yong's hand and shook it excitedly. The family looked at Chu Yong with gratitude. Chu Yong was a little uncomfortable, but for some reason he felt a little sad looking at them. Chu Yong pulled his hand out. "If there's nothing else, I'll go back first. Oh, by the way. If you have a skill, you can go to the market and look for a job. Contribution points can only be obtained through work, so save up enough and get a house sooner." Having said that, Chu Yong left amidst the Luo family's 4 thanks again. The little girl Luo Qian stared at Chu Yong's departing back in a daze. Cough cough. The eldest brother Luo Wu blocked the little girl's view. "What are you looking at? Everyone has gone far away. At such a young age, he is not suitable for you." Luo Wu looked at Luo Qian and snorted coldly. "Luo Wu." Luo Qian gritted her teeth, her face flushed, and she turned to look at her mother Li Shouwan with tears in her eyes. "Mom, look at him, Luo Wu is bullying me. All right, let's go. Let's go take a shower." Li Shouwan and Luo Chengji looked at each other, each with an inexplicable smile on their face. "Okay, let's take a shower. I'm about to go rancid," the little girl Luo Qian said excitedly. You're rotten to begin with. Luo Wu muttered. Mom. Luo Wu said I was rotten. Luo Qian complained. Suddenly, Luo Chengji shouted angrily. Okay, stop shouting. You two go take a shower. Xiaowu, come with me and look for some work. Row. As they spoke, the Luo family split into two groups, wanting to integrate into the life on the floating island as quickly as possible. Little did they know that they were just part of the 30,000-strong army that landed on the island. Hundreds of families like the Luo family, or survivors of landing on the island, have also begun to try to integrate into the life on the floating island in their own way. For a time, the floating island became more popular than ever before. Chapter 70 Sea Ghost Leader. Level 1 Cluster. Justice Zhongli. The sea area of Demon City. A small island with many reefs. The stench accompanied by the salty sea breeze lingers around the island. Dozens of sea ghosts with fish heads and human bodies, their bodies covered with blue scales and their mouths full of densely packed fangs. They landed on the beach and walked onto the island, dragging the bodies of the survivors who had turned white with seawater. Sea ghosts emerged from the sea one after another, dragging corpses and walking towards the center of the island. It's just that some of the survivors in their hands are alive and some are dead, but it doesn't matter to them. The closer we got to the center of the island, the stronger the fishy smell became. There were also more and more sea ghosts appearing on the island, in all shapes and sizes. Some of them ate the limbs and internal organs of the survivors, while others ate the heads and body parts of their own kind. Some sea ghosts even started to bite each other for a piece of body part, and finally ate each other to death. In the center of the island, there is a lake surrounded by mountain ridges. Hundreds of thousands of sea ghosts gather by the lake. As far as the eye can see, there are blue-scaled monsters with fish heads and human bodies. The stench and smell of blood are even more pungent here. The originally clear lake has now turned blood red, as thick and viscous as blood plasma. The staring human heads were used as bricks to build the wall around the lake. The wall is over a kilometer long. I don't know how many survivors were forced here to be eaten, and their bones and skulls formed this blood pool wall. The sea ghosts that came here one after another dragged the intercepted survivors to the edge of the blood pool, twisted off their heads very skillfully, and pressed them into the cracks of the wall like stones. Then they dripped the blood into the blood pool without leaving a drop, and the final corpse attracted all the sea ghosts to scramble for it. A powerful sea ghost might be able to snatch a complete piece of flesh and blood or a limb. A weak sea ghost can only snatch a piece of smelly intestines, or even become food of its own kind. Susu. Susu. There was a sound coming from the blood pool. All the sea ghosts crawled on the ground and roared towards the blood pool. Slowly, a 5-meter-tall figure stood up from the blood pool, grabbed a sea ghost of the same species, put it in his mouth and began to eat it. Click. The sea ghost's head was bitten off and made a crunching sound in the figure's mouth. Hungry. I'm hungry. Flesh, flesh. I need more flesh. I have been promoted, flesh and blood. Hungry, not enough strength. Let me eat my fill, and led you to strangle humans. Go, and find it. The figure's voice was hoarse and low. He grabbed a few more of his own kind and continued to eat them. All the sea ghosts crawled on the ground, not daring to resist, allowing themselves to become the bait of that figure. A long time. I don't know how many more survivors were sent into the blood pool. The figure seemed to have finally eaten enough, and the plasma in the blood pool began to shake. Snap! Smashed the wall built with the heads of countless survivors. A huge wave of blood gushed out from the blood pool. Hundreds of thousands of sea ghosts stood up at the same time and began to make sharp and piercing roars. The blood plasma turned into a tidal wave of blood and began to baptize these hundreds of thousands of sea ghosts. Devoured, baptized, and drowned in plasma. When the waves of blood dissipated, hundreds of thousands of sea ghosts became stronger, their blue scales turned blood red, and their momentum suddenly rose to a level. Hunger. An unprecedented hunger came instantly. Hundreds of thousands of sea ghosts could not bear the painful hunger and began to fight and eat each other just to have a full meal. The sea ghosts with fish heads and human bodies opened their mouths full of sharp fangs and gnawed on their fellow creatures one by one. If you don't want to be eaten, you have to eat other people. A sea ghost with only the upper body left was holding the head of another sea ghost in its hands and still gnawing on it. For a long time, the cannibalism finally came to an end. Hunger finally subsided, and with it came an unprecedentedly powerful force. There were hundreds of thousands of sea ghosts, but now only 80,000 are left. Question mark. Level 1. There are a total of 1 sea ghosts, and all of them are level at this moment. Before he could calculate, there was a being in the blood pool commanding 80,000 level 1 sea ghosts. My warriors. Go. Bring back more flesh and blood. Flesh and blood. That's power. The endless sea is all our blood food. The figure stood up and gave orders to the 1-level sea ghosts. Then the sea ghosts shouted angrily, and the roar reached the sea horizon. The next moment, 80,000 level 1 sea ghosts rushed towards the sea like crazy. As one level 1 sea ghost after another entered the sea, the battle between humans and sea ghosts had just begun. At the same time, there are many small islands like this in the waters around the world. The humanoid shark-like sea ghost leader, holding a trident made of human skulls, dived into the sea, leading hundreds of thousands of level 1 sea ghosts into the depths of the endless sea, following the smell of blood to determine the location of flesh and blood. On an island full of giant blood-red bees, a bee pupa that was as big as a dozen-story skyscraper burst open, and a beautiful lady emerged from it, laughing seductively as she looked at her hundreds of thousands of hungry young bees. A giant octopus opened its bloody mouth and swallowed thousands of people in one gulp. Its huge tentacles dragged more than a dozen sailboats into the deep sea. Octopus-headed warriors wandered in the sea with their bloody mouths open, and started a feast on the spot. The bull-headed monster with a python-like body more than 10 meters long could make the entire island tremble with just one punch. The terrifying muscles on the upper body and the fists as big as mountains demonstrated its unparalleled power. Hundreds of thousands of minotaurs held butcher knives, trampled on the bodies of the survivors, and roared constantly. Magic City Naval Base. It's definitely that guy named Lu Ming. Zhang Li, who had just joined the Navy, slammed his fist on the table and spoke angrily to everyone. At this moment, inside the conference room was filled with high-ranking Navy officials from the Magic City. Zhang Li is among them at the moment. Perhaps it was because Zhang Li was a person with extraordinary abilities, and because of his powerful sense of justice, he was well received by the survivors of the naval base. He is also proactive and enterprising. Although he has not been in the Navy for a long time, he has quickly accumulated a large number of supporters in this short period of time and then became a member of the Magic City Navy's senior management. The old leader looked at Zhang Li with complicated feelings. Okay. Zhang Li. The teacher hasn't spoken yet, you are so rude. Navy Jiang Qifan reprimanded. Am I wrong? Zhang Li retorted. So many survivors from the 3 major camps have disappeared recently. Could it be that this guy Lu Ming has nothing to do with it? I do not believe. Zhang Li clenched his fists tightly and said angrily. This hypocrite. It must be him who used dishonorable means to take away the sole lifespan of these survivors. Zhang Li. Watch your attitude. Navy officer Jiang Qifan gritted his teeth and shouted angrily. Jiang Qifan really hated this guy named Zhang Li. Ever since he and those 3 guys came to the Magic City Naval Base, his status in the Navy's top brass has plummeted. Many senior executives are no longer as respectful and kind to him as before, but more and more people are getting close to this guy. Damn it. Aren't you the user of the natural devil fruit? I'm the teacher's direct disciple. In this naval base, I should be second to none and above everyone else. Why do you want to oppose me in every way since you came here? I'm just talking about the facts. Zhang Li roared, and also noticed that his emotions were a bit excessive, so he whispered to his old leader. Sorry, old leader. Apart from this guy Lu Ming, who else would kidnap so many survivors? Only he would do anything to obtain souls. Upon hearing this, the other senior naval officials couldn't help but nod their heads. This statement was indeed reasonable. Now, in the Demon City Sea, the only person they can think of who has this ability and this need is Lu Ming. The old leader touched his nose, looking a little guilty, and another person immediately flashed through his mind. But he couldn't say it, because that was his last trump card. Well, let's put the blame on Lu Ming. Their relationship with Lu Ming is already like this anyway. I think. The old leader exhaled a puff of smoke, looked at everyone, and said quietly. What Zhang Li said makes sense. Hearing this, Zhang smiled brightly and praised, I knew it. You are a wise man. Zhang Qifan, standing aside, had a gloomy expression on his face. He stared at Zhang with resentment and silence. Now, the most important problem is that we have no way to prove that the disappearance of a large number of survivors from the 3 major camps is related to Lu Ming. The old leader spoke again, speaking faintly. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone present fell silent. Zhao Bishan, who was chewing a pancake in the corner, muttered. What's the big deal? Just get someone to go in and check it out. Anyway, I don't think it's. Hearing this, everyone looked at him. Han Shizai and Yunxi on the side dodged instantly, leaving Zhao Bishan alone to face everyone's gaze. Old Zhao. Well said. Zhang clapped his hands excitedly. Let's get someone to enter the floating island and investigate. Once we find out that Lu Ming is related to the missing people, we can unite the 3 major camps and eliminate this evil tumor together. Many leaders were undecided for a moment, and deep down they did not want to offend Lu Ming again. Can. The old leader spoke. A high-ranking naval officer said hesitantly, I heard that the selection to enter the floating island is very difficult. It also requires soul testing and so on. Can the people we send get in? Don't worry, they only have those few questions. We can find more survivors to find out more, and then find someone from among the survivors. We will definitely succeed, Zhang said excitedly. The old leader stood up, looked at everyone and said, I know what you are afraid of. But everyone, our relationship with Lu Ming has reached a freezing point, and there is no possibility of mediation. So, we have to remove this cancer in the Demon City Sea as soon as possible. We can sleep peacefully. Hearing this, everyone nodded, and finally the Magic City Navy's top brass unanimously agreed to this decision. Wait until everyone leaves. The old leader was hiding in the room alone, taking puffs on his pipe, with a complicated expression, muttering. Yang Tong, what on earth are you doing? Check out our playlist for more amazing novels. Chapter 71, Sneaking into Sky Island. What Sang Biao saw. The undercover agent turned against us. Give. This is an animal-type devil fruit. After you eat it, you will become a special ability user. Although the floating island does not accept ordinary people now, it still accepts special ability users. Have you remembered what to observe? A Navy man kept giving orders to Sang Biao, a 1.9 meter tall, strong young man in front of him. Sang Biao stared at the devil fruit with his eyes fixed, his saliva almost flowing. Remember, I went there with all my heart, but I just like to chat with others about everything I see. Sang Biao said flatteringly. The Marine handed over the devil fruit. Sang Biao took the devil fruit carefully and immediately ate it in just a few bites. At this moment, Sang Biao felt that this fruit was the most delicious thing in the world. This time I can finally go to my brother Lu for help. What undercover? Only ghosts would be undercover. Remember to do a good job. The Navy will pay you a generous salary in the future, but you will need to stay undercover for a long time. The Navy said seriously. Sang Biao laughed. I understand. Thanks to the Navy, that's great. Since there is a salary, I will be an undercover agent, Sang Biao, and I will be absolutely loyal to our Navy. Sang Biao left the naval base with a smile on his face. After drifting on the sea for 2 days, he arrived at the recruitment center of the floating island on the sea. A sailboat on the sea. Every day, a dragon would fly down from the floating island to pick up those people with special abilities who were being recruited. It just so happened that the time for this trip had not yet arrived, so Sang Biao rowed his small boat onto the sailboat. Hello, are you a person with special abilities? Are you applying for a job? An interviewer came out and looked at Sang Biao and asked. Yes, I came here specifically to seek refuge with Boss Lu. Sang Biao nodded repeatedly. That's right, it has always been my dream to join Boss Lu. What Navy pirate? Shit, can you please show me your abilities? The interviewer asked. No problem. The next moment, Sang Biao suddenly turned into a big black bull. I am the user of the black bull form of the animal-type bull fruit. Okay, thank you very much. Shall we start the interview? The interviewer witnessed the ability and then prepared to start the interview. A long time. Due to his sincere desire to curry favor with Lu Ming, Sang Biao's interview went unexpectedly smoothly. If it were someone else, they might not be able to get by. When Longshang arrived, Sangbao followed a user with the ability of the pig fruit in wild boar form and flew to the floating island together. Pat. When Longshang landed, Sangbao felt like he had entered the Grand View Garden. He looked at the popular floating island in front of him with a gleam in his eyes. Under the guidance of the staff, Sangbao completed the process of entering the island. Since Sangbao is a person with special abilities, the logistics team specially assigned him a wooden house to live in. As for work, Sangbao needs to think about it himself. However, the people in the logistics team gave Sangbao some suggestions and asked him to consider them himself. After it was over, Sangbao, lying in the cabin, felt that he had never experienced such a peaceful and stable time in his life. No longer have to squeeze into the small refugee camp in the naval base with other survivors. Dozens of people were squeezed into one tent, and no one could take a shower. The smell was terrible. Thinking of taking a shower, Sangbao immediately turned over and sat up. That person seemed to say that the first bath is free. Sangbao immediately left the room excitedly. He happily came to the public bathroom, swiped his card, threw away his old clothes, and entered the bath naked. Since it was working hours, the men's bathroom was empty. There was only a father and son taking a bath. A huge pool is placed in the center, with shower heads. Sangbao simply rinsed himself, then dived into the pool, and an unprecedented sense of comfort came over his whole body. Ah, cool. Sangbao seemed to have melted into the pool, and a father and son were muttering to themselves nearby. Dad, you're right. It's so comfortable to have the bathroom all to ourselves in broad daylight when no one is around. Luo Wu was lying in the pool, his whole body forming a big your father, have eaten more salt than you have eaten rice. Luo Chengji said slowly that he also lay in the pool to form a big, but as the temperature rose, the two big gradually became two wood. When Sangbao, who was standing by, saw this, he came out of the pool feeling ashamed and went into the sauna room to steam. After a long time, I saw the father and son leave. Sangbao, with a flushed face, continued to soak. Unfortunately, there is no bathing master. Otherwise I will be a complete loser. After taking a shower, Sangbao received a set of clean clothes. The clothes received on the entire floating island were the same. If you like other styles, you can go to the market to purchase them yourself. Wearing clean clothes, Sangbao walked leisurely on the avenue, with a bustling market in front of him. The long pedestrian street of the market is lined with stalls selling goods on both sides, including food, drinks, general merchandise, clothes and weapons. Looking at the sea of people in front of him, Sangbao felt a sense of familiarity, as if it was the end of the world. That's great. Sangbao strolled like a big boss, from the beginning of the street to the end of the street, and then from the end of the street to the beginning of the street. I'm not buying anything, I'm just strolling around. Soon, Sangbao, who was hungry, smelled the authentic spicy smell in the air and walked into a Sichuan restaurant on the avenue. Shaolei's Sichuan restaurant. Sir, please see if there is anything you would like to eat. We are all authentic craftsmen. Seeing Sangbao, Lei Chuan was the first to come forward and pointed at several wooden signs hanging on the wall and said with a smile. Our specialty is mapo tofu, twice cooked pork, and spicy chicken. There are also boiled pork slices and boiled fish. Rice is free. Sangbao listened to Lei Chuan's introduction, smacked his lips, licked the saliva at the corners of his mouth, and looked at the points marked on the wooden sign. Mapo tofu 15 points. Twice cooked pork 30 points. Spicy chicken 35 points. Boiled pork slices 30 points. Boiled fish 50 points. P.S. In order to avoid inflation on the floating island, all items for sale will be officially priced after comprehensive discussion between the material group and the financial and commercial group to ensure that practitioners can make a profit, prices are stable, and people's livelihood is healthy. After all, on the floating island, the only way for residents to gain points is to work. Lu Ming specially selected a group of people who are good at finance and business to form a financial and business team to maintain the stability of people's livelihood and the spontaneous prosperity of business on the floating island. It's not expensive, just a meal. Sangbao, can afford it. Sangbao murmured. Anyway, all the points are given by the dog navy. It's a waste if we don't spend it. Sang Biao sat down on the seat, waved his hand and ordered. Copy 1. Soon, 5 dishes were placed on the table, and the portions were quite affordable, enough to feed 5 or 6 people. Looking at the table full of tempting dishes, Sang Biao couldn't help but drool. He immediately picked up a bowl of free rice, picked up a piece of golden fried pork belly, dipped it in thick soy sauce, bean paste and oil, put it in his mouth and chewed it repeatedly, his mouth full of rich meaty aroma. Then, Sang Biao picked up a spoon and scooped up a spoonful of steaming, bright red and thick mapo tofu, a combination of chili, tofu and minced meat. This mouthful of mapo tofu accompanied by rice, the instant you put it into your mouth, you can taste the double taste of numbing and spicy. In an instant, Sang Biao was alone. 5 dishes and 10 bowls of rice. Hiccup. Sang Biao was picking his teeth and carrying a big belly as he was sent out the door under Lei Chuan's earnest gaze. Take care, and come back often next time. After eating and drinking, Sang Biao strolled around, trying to find a job, otherwise the points he had would be used up sooner or later. He also heard that he wanted to obtain a floating island household registration to accumulate contribution points. How to obtain contribution points? You have to work. Sang Biao was strolling around and passed by a farmland. From a distance, he saw a group of agricultural workers waiting there. A giant centipede was turning the soil in the field. Not far away, there was a black and white cow eating grass with its head down. It seemed to sense Sang Biao and raised its head to look at him quietly. I've been single for so long that even a cow looks handsome. Sang Biao looked at the cow and somehow felt that the cow was particularly handsome. Let's go. At this moment, Sang Biao had already forgotten the mission entrusted by the navy. Until the sun set, Sang Biao found a shop called Xiaochu Tavern, ordered 2 taels of liquor, sat in the shop, and recalled the good times of the day. Hello, this is the Xiaochu liquor you ordered, and the salted edamame you ordered. The waitress Luo Qian brought the wine and food with a smile. As the door opened, many customers walked in. The leader happened to be the father and son we met in the bathroom. Hey, Dad and Luo Wu, why are you here? If you come to drink again, I'll tell my mom when I get back. The waitress Luo Qian said angrily to the father and son. Hey, we're here for team building with our coworkers. Just do your job. Go quickly. Otherwise I'll complain to you. Luo Wu poked his finger on Luo Qian's forehead. Luo Chengji, Luo Wu and many industrial group workers sat down and began to chat about family matters. Oh, it turns out that the waiter and the father and son are from the same family. Interesting. Sang Biao drank some wine, ate some salted edamame, and listened to other people gossip with his ears perked up. Hey, what's wrong with this edamame? Sang Biao looked at the unusually large edamame on the plate and felt that it was a little different from what he had eaten before. It's quite delicious. And this wine has a taste I've never had before. Sang Biao took a sip of wine and a bite of edamame, enjoying other people's gossip, feeling very comfortable. After drinking, Sang Biao staggered towards his cabin. At this moment, Sang Biao felt that he had never been so satisfied in his life. Hiccup. Let's go to the industrial group tomorrow. Sang Biao walked back laughing, imagining what tomorrow would be like. Naval base. Are you sure people have entered the island? Zhongli asked the navy behind him with a puzzled look, but got a very affirmative answer. The sailors nearby began to murmur. Wait a little longer, how many days has it been already? Why is there no news? Have you talked to him? Logically, this shouldn't happen. Could it be that Lu Ming found out? It's very possible. Many people are concerned about the undercover agents they have planted. How are you now? Alas, I suspect that the people we sent in have been sacrificed. Zhongli looked at his naval companions who were following him with a look of deep sorrow. It's all my fault. It was I who harmed this comrade. Lu Ming, you are such a ruthless fellow. I, Zhongli, swear in the name of the Navy that I will eradicate this cancer of yours until my death. Upon hearing this, the Navy was infected by Zhong Li's emotions and said indignantly. Brother Zhong, don't blame yourself too much. Count me in. Brother Zhong, I am willing to follow you closely. We swear to eradicate the cancer Lu Ming. Quote. At the same time, Hatch, who the hell scolded me again? Lu Ming, who was lying in countless small light balls and absorbing souls, grabbed a handful of small soul light balls and stuffed them into his mouth, then closed his eyes helplessly and continued to absorb souls. Looking around, the whole house. At this moment, it has become a sea of small light balls. And Lu Ming was lying among more than 30,000 small light balls. Soul soaring. Chapter 72, Condemn Lu Ming. Reactions from all sides. First kill at level 1. Public channel. As survivors from the 3 major camps have been missing frequently in recent days, many people have noticed that the atmosphere is not very good. Many people are discussing the whereabouts of these missing survivors and speculating on their chances of survival. On this day, a post suddenly appeared out of nowhere and was instantly viewed by everyone, becoming the top of the hot list. Magic City Black Hand. Disappeared survivors. Disappeared souls. The poster's name is Justice Navy Zhongla. The content of the post simply asked Lu Ming to hold him accountable, asking if the recent frequent disappearances of survivors in the Magic City were caused by you. You are such a madman, you will do anything for the soul. You are the demon queen of the demon city. The post further criticized Lu Ming for not only attacking innocent survivors, but also brutally killing a naval undercover agent, which was inhumane and outrageous. We also call on the 3 major camps in the Magic City to unite against the enemy and work together to eliminate the cancer of Lu Ming for a better tomorrow of the Magic City. Unfortunately, as soon as the post was released, everyone left messages to discuss it, but no one dared to pay attention to Zhongla. Fight against Lu Ming. You don't want your life, but we do. I have the sword of Daily One, brother. Knowing that someone has the sword of Daily One, you still rush to die. Isn't this stupid? Even though everyone thought that Lu Ming was very likely to do such a thing, no one really dared to do it. At most, he could just curse a few words in the channel, saying that Lu Ming was not a human being, but could he really want to die? If you have the guts, Lu Ming, come and chop me down through the internet cable. If you really can, then just ignore what I said. Magic City Naval Base. Zhongla. The Navy is not yours. You are not qualified to post in the name of the Navy. Zhang Qifan angrily denounced Zhang Li's behavior. Okay, Xiao Zhang, Zhongla also means well. A senior naval official consoled him. Yes, Xiao Zhang is also full of passion. We should guide young people like him instead of suppressing them. Another high-ranking naval officer patted Zhongla on the shoulder and consoled him. Zhongla looked bitter and said, I was wrong. I didn't expect that Lu Ming has become so terrifying in everyone's mind. But it is precisely because of this that it proves that our decision was not wrong. It's just that we are too weak. Too weak to demonstrate true justice. Zhang Li's eyes were burning with fire. Don't worry, Xiao Zhang, that day is coming soon. The old leader smiled inexplicably and looked at everyone with a pipe in their mouths, with an inexplicable expression. The sea area of Demon City. Between the islands. Inside the house. Zhou Qi looked down from above and smiled at the dozen or so pirate captains under his command. Haha, this Lu Ming is really miserable. A dozen first-level pirate captains looked humble and no one dared to speak. Survivors missing. It seems that a level 1 sea ghost has appeared. Zhou Qi murmured, stroking the pendant on his neck. He raised his head and looked at 2 of the captains with a cold gaze. Go, grab the reward for killing the first-level sea ghost leader. Understand. Zhou Qi had a cold expression on his face, his eyes were filled with chilling coldness, and a dark shadow was faintly floating around his body. Follow orders. The 2 captains immediately knelt down and responded. Very good. Zhou Qi nodded and looked into the distance with a smile. This was the 3rd time he heard the name, Lu Ming. But why? Why does it feel like we've known each other forever? Zhou Qi was at a loss, and he rubbed the pendant even faster. A sailboat is anchored on the sea. Inside the cabin. There was a faint aroma of coffee wafting in the air, and I confirmed that it was hand-brewed coffee. Let me tell you, Meow, the most important thing about coffee is the fat. Wang Quan held a cup of coffee and discussed his experience with Shu Meow. Zhang Meow held the coffee with a confused look on his face, sipped it carefully, one sip after another. Thump. Boss. Lu, the user of the barrier fruit, pushed the door open. What are you doing? Why are you panicking? The sky won't fall. What did I say to you? Scream. Wang Quan was so frightened that the coffee almost spilled on his clothes. Wang Quan scolded angrily. Hey, boss, please stop drinking. Something big is going to happen. Lu, the user of the barrier fruit, snatched the coffee from Wang Quan's hand and explained. Recently, more and more bounty hunters in our magic city have gone missing, and many people have sent messages looking for you. Haha, why are you looking for me? The Magic City Bounty Hunter Alliance is already a thing of the past. Let them handle it themselves. Wang Quan was not interested. Hey my, some people say that Lu Ming did it. Lu, the user of the barrier fruit ability, whispered. Don't mention him to me. Wang Quan suddenly became angry and roared. Lu Ming, the lady-in-law is a little naked man. When Wang Quan heard the name Lu Ming, he wanted to get angry. Tell me, what happened to that jerk Lu Ming? Some people say that Lu Ming has captured these people and is preparing to take away their souls. The user with the barrier fruit ability whispered. Hearing this, Wang Quan and Zhang Maoshan looked at each other. Then, both of them smiled disdainfully. If Lu Ming wants to do something, he will do it openly. You all don't understand Lu Ming. The two men escaped death from Lu Ming's hands, but they gained a deep understanding of Lu Ming. Since it wasn't Lu Ming, then someone else did it. Wang Quan picked up the coffee again, put a piece of sugar in it, and frowned thoughtfully. If it wasn't done by a human, it must have been a sea ghost. Zhang Maoshan stood up quickly. Could it be a level 1 sea ghost? Suddenly, Wang Quan and Zhang Maoshan looked at each other, both of them with shock in their eyes. A level 1 sea ghost has appeared. Closing square bracket. This is just a guess. There's no rush. You take your men to keep an eye on the floating island these days. Especially Lu Ming's men, Wang Quan ordered. If there is any troop movement, tell me immediately. And the Navy pirates are watching too. Wang Quan turned to look at Zhang Maoshan. We can't miss the first kill of this level 1 sea ghost. Haha, brother Wang is right, let's toast. A cunning smile appeared on Zhang Maoshan's silly face. Chelsea, I hope this first kill belongs to both of us. Small idea. Wang Quan and Zhang Maoshan lightly touched their coffee cups together, and a crisp sound instantly resounded throughout the cabin. Chapter 73. The tide is finally coming. Regional exploration. Mantis stalks the cicada. None of my business. Lu Ming lazily lay in the ocean of small light balls, scrolling through posts on the public channel one after another. Looking at those keyboard warriors mindlessly accusing him, he couldn't help but curse out loud. Of course, most people were looking for an excuse to vent their dissatisfaction because they couldn't get on the floating island. Just as he was about to pick up a small ball of light, Lu Ming suddenly stopped. Lu Ming looked stunned, as if he had thought of something. After stuffing the small ball of light into his mouth, Lu Ming immediately began to search for news of missing persons throughout Daxia, but discovered that a large number of survivors had disappeared not only in Modu, Daxia, but also in the whole world. This is definitely no accident. Coming. Level 1 Sea Ghost Tide. Lu Ming somersaulted to his feet, staring blankly with a serious expression, as if he was recalling the first level Sea Ghost Tide in his previous life, where too many survivors had died. When he was just a small fry who had just become a bounty hunter, overwhelming numbers of level 1 sea ghosts had already come to kill him. Despite this, the level 1 sea ghost is not the biggest threat. The reason why the level 1 sea ghosts attack the survivors in groups is because there is a will driving them. Sea Ghost Leader. In every sea area, there will be a unique leader. No one knows why there is a level 1 sea ghost leader in every sea area. It seems like it was planned by someone. There will only be one level 1 sea ghost leader in every sea area. The sea ghost leader is the king of the sea ghosts who rules this sea area. After killing the sea ghost leader, the level 1 sea ghosts in that sea area will scatter and collapse. Although they still exist, the situation is completely different. According to the information he heard from others in his previous life, it was said that even with the combined forces of all the powerful men in the Demon City, they were still unable to kill the sea ghost leader in the Demon City's waters, and he was eventually able to escape. Until many years later, this sea ghost leader achieved level 9, returned to the waters of the Demon City, and created huge waves in the Demon City. In later life, he became a capable general of the Ghost King of the Sea tribe. Being at the same level 1, the power of the Sea Ghost leader is much stronger than that of the ability user. This is also the reason why the Sea Ghost leader was able to escape despite the joint efforts of many powerful people in the Demon City. In this life, Lu Ming will never let history repeat itself. Because I will kill this bastard myself, Lu Ming said hatefully. After all, the first kill of the level 1 Sea Ghost leader was only achieved by Niu Mantang from the Shuzhong Sea. But what exactly did he gain? No one knows, and Niu Mantang has never announced it to the public. This has also become one of the great mysteries of later generations. Without hesitation, Lu Ming opened the panel and began to search for posts related to missing persons in the Magic City over the past half-month. Then, combining the gossip and rumors from his previous life, Lu Ming finally selected a sea area full of reefs as his target. Soon, Lu Ming gathered everyone together. In the conference room, Lao Wang, Wu Chu, Chu Yang, Yang Xuan, Wang Xiaomao, and a group of capable people recruited recently. Lu Ming looked at the nearly 30 people with special abilities under his command and nodded with satisfaction. Although these people's abilities may not be outstanding, compared to ordinary people, they are already quite powerful. Lao Wang, Wu Chu, Chu Yang, Yang Xuan, Wang Xiaomao and other 5 people have now broken through to level 1. There are also 3 daughters, Ling Momo, Chu Ling, and Wang Area. Today, Lu Ming already has 8 level 1 bounty hunters and nearly 30 devil fruit users under his command. Lu Ming sighed in his heart, I am also different from my previous life. Then he smiled and looked at everyone, saying, there is something I need you to do. Lu Ming sent the range of the sea area to everyone, and everyone saw a large area of sea marked in red on their panels. From now on, you will split into several teams and start searching this sea area. Find an island surrounded by reefs. Remember, your mission is to search. If you encounter any danger, evacuate immediately and report to me. Each team consists of 3 people with special abilities, plus 100 bronze level yellow turban warriors and 10 silver level crow tengu guards. Find out the situation in this sea area as soon as possible. Do you understand? Hearing this, everyone responded with a serious look. Understood, boss. For most people, this is their first time working for a new boss, so they need to work harder. All right, Lao Wang, you take charge of everything, Lu Ming said to Wang Yongjun. Old Wang nodded without saying anything, but gave Lu Ming a knowing look. Leave it to me and don't worry. Then, he looked at Chief Wu and said, Old Wu, you stay here. The law enforcement team can't do without you. Chief Wu shrugged and nodded helplessly. He understood that Lu Ming was doing this for his own good. After all, he was not a person with special abilities, and his fighting ability could not be compared with Lao Wang's. Thinking of this, Chief Wu sighed silently in his heart. You all should also pay attention. If you encounter danger, retreat first. Just explore the situation in the sea area. Lu Ming looked at everyone and gave the order. Let's go. It is good. Outside the meeting room, Ling Momo, who was hiding behind the door and eavesdropping, looked indignant at this moment. No good thing ever comes to me. They just order me around to do work. You black-hearted capitalist. Ling Momo was holding a bowl full of mealworms, looking very angry. Behind her, Song Xinyu and Song Xinan, the brother and sister, looked at her with worry. Sister Momo, why don't we go? Song Xinyu said this timidly, and even Song Xinan, who was standing beside her, pulled Ling Momo and said something to comfort her. Yes, Sister Momo, we still have to go feed the crows. If we don't leave now, the boss will come out and it will be too scary. Song Xinyu recalled the first time she met Lu Ming and couldn't help shivering. Even Song Xinan didn't know why he felt scared when he saw Lu Ming, and basically avoided him every time he met him. What are you afraid of? At worst, we can go together. Ling Momo responded with a look of unwillingness to admit defeat. Hey, Sister Momo, please stop doing stupid things. Song Xinyu consoled. Sister Momo, do you remember? The last time you stole your luck, you were hung for a whole day and night, and then worked as a miner for 3 days. A few days ago, you rode your Longshong down to play, and you tried to steal the luck of the residents, but you were discovered. After you came back, you were hung up for a day and a night, and you had to clean the public toilets on the island. Yesterday you went to Xiao Lei's Sichuan restaurant and had a free meal. In the evening you went to Xiao Chu's pub to drink. When you were drunk you flirted with the waitress. Boss, he said he's going to settle accounts with you today. Song Xinan stretched out his fingers and counted Ling Momo's embarrassing moments. Ling Momo was sweating profusely and asked back. Have I? Of course. Lu Ming's low voice came from behind her, and a big hand grasped Ling Momo's small crown. Twist your head over. Just happened to meet Lu Ming's gloomy and cold face. I heard that you had a free meal yesterday. The cold sweat on Ling Momo's forehead couldn't stop flowing down. I also heard that you went to the pub opened by Chu Yang to drink, and when you were drunk you flirted with the waiter. Ling Momo's face trembled as she forced a smile. Maybe it's a misunderstanding, we are all girls, it's just a joke, haha, haha. Lu Ming stared at her, his expression frighteningly cold. At this moment, Song Xinyu and Song Xinan were like two quails, hiding behind Ling Momo, not daring to look up at all. It just so happens that I have an experiment I want to try. Come with me for a moment. Lu Ming had a cold expression on his face. He picked up Ling Momo as if she were a chick and brought her back to the room. Ling Momo had a look of panic on her face, and she looked at Song Xinyu and her brother who were gradually moving away from her and called for help. Save me, save me, save me. The sound gradually became weaker until Ling Momo's figure disappeared. I hope Sister Momo is okay. Song Xinan looked at her sister beside her with a worried look on her face. Song Xinyu touched her brother's head and said with a strange expression. Don't worry, Sister Momo will be fine. They may have something to do. Let's go, the crow must be hungry. Okay sister. At this moment, in the sea area of Demon City. Boss, I saw it. Lu Ming has sent people out. It seems they are going to search. Lu, the user of the barrier fruit ability, was floating on the sea surface by stepping on the barrier. He was surrounded by barriers on all sides, and he used the barriers to refract light, making himself invisible to outsiders. Okay, I'll follow quietly behind you. Don't worry, I won't be exposed. Are you still worried about me? Lu hung up the phone, urged the barrier to move, and followed closely behind the exploration team. Little did he know, not far behind him, there was a group of people following him, moving slowly forward. Boss is really wise. Wang Quan must know something. If we follow his people, there's no way we can escape. The burly man clapped his hands, smiled and complimented the boss behind him. Bounty hunter, Xiao Qingshan. The noble lady beside him whispered. It seems that their target is a reef area ahead. As long as we identify the target, we can strike first. The young man in the shadows murmured. The little girl jumped out, put her hands on her hips, and said with a smile. This is thieves eating thieves, ha 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 ha. Lu Ming, Wang Quan, just lead the way for me this time. Xiao Qingshan sat on the deck, his eyes fierce, fiddling with gold coins in his hands, and smiling brightly. There will always be a day when our accounts will be settled. This time, I'm just charging some interest. Hey. After a while, inside the room, Ling Momo squatted in the corner, silently chewing an apple, looking at Lu Ming wielding a long sword with boredom. Doodle. Lu Ming immediately answered Lao Wang's call. Found it. Hearing this, Lu Ming was shocked and shouted coldly. Don't get close, and don't take action, it might alert the enemy. Be safe, I'll rush over as fast as I can. Hearing Lu Ming say this, Ling Momo instantly perked up. I'm going to, take one with me. I'm so bored, please boss. Before Lu Ming could explain, Ling Momo hugged Lu Ming's thigh tightly and wailed with tears. Ah, please, boss, take me with you. I'm so bored. Please, take me with you. Lu Ming's eyes rolled back and he felt speechless. On second thought, this silly girl is still somewhat useful. After some hesitation, Lu Ming picked up Ling Momo and they headed towards the target sea area at full speed. Chapter 74 Arrival on the island. First kill of level 1. Wang Quan appears. The sea area of Demon City. Reef land. The search team's 10 schooners rushed into the target area to search for the target. One of the schooners happened to pass through a group of reefs and found the small island that exuded a fishy smell. Captain Xiao Yang, do we really not need to go up? A person with special abilities wanted to show off and looked at Xiao Dao eager to try. Yang Xuan glanced at him and said calmly. No need, I feel the crisis. Retreat. The other two people with special abilities had no choice but to follow Yang Xuan's advice and leave the reef immediately. Nowadays, seniority or age is no longer a thing. As long as your fist is strong enough, you are the father. The two of them have witnessed Yang Xuan's strength. Even if they fight together, they are no match for Yang Xuan. This is also the reason why the two adult ability users dare not refute Yang Xuan. The remaining 9 sailboats arrived one after another and met outside the reef. Are you sure it's in there? Old Wang looked at Yang Xuan with a serious face. Yang Xuan nodded. It's very dangerous. I can feel the breath of bones. It's really dangerous. Hearing this, the newcomers who were originally eager to try and show themselves fell silent for a moment. Even Captain Xiao Yang, who is recognized to be very powerful, feels it is dangerous, so it seems that it is indeed very dangerous. Dad, let me go check it out. Wang Xiaomao looked excited and was about to take action. Pat. But Wang Yangjun slapped him on the head and scolded him. Don't worry about your life. Why are you going there? Just stay here and wait for the captain to come. Okay. Wang Xiaomao said with a look of grievance. After a while, 2 figures fell from the sky. They were none other than Lu Ming and Ling Momo. Where is it? Lu Ming looked at everyone. Yang Xuan pointed to an area on the map where there were dense reefs. Deep in the reefs, there was a strange island. This should be it, Lu Ming said pertinently. Looking at the small island full of reefs, this situation is indeed consistent with the intelligence I heard in my previous life. Hold on tight, let's go. Lu Ming snapped his fingers, and the entire ship floated up instantly, crossed the reef and flew towards the island. Boss. Found it. They flew away, and Lu Ming was there too. I didn't dare to get close to them. Come quickly. Lulu hid on a reef in the distance and kept shouting. ... Thump. The sailboat landed on the island, raising a large cloud of dust. But before the dust dissipated, roars were heard coming towards the people on the sailboat. Earth Scroll Lion's Might. The flying sand instantly transformed into 2 giant lions, engulfing the sea ghosts one by one and strangling them instantly. The lion disappeared, and everyone could see the surrounding situation clearly. In an instant, everyone was frightened pale. Looking at the thousands of level 1 sea ghosts surrounding the sailboat, they suddenly felt despair. These are all sea ghosts. The person with special abilities who had just persuaded Yang Xuan to go to the island now had trembling hands and a pale face, and it looked like he would faint at any moment. Why did they look so different from the ones I killed before? A user with special abilities exclaimed. These are level 1 sea ghosts. The ones you killed before were just babies. Lu Ming said calmly. Level 1 sea ghosts have their own consciousness and no longer rush around. They are also 3 or 4 times stronger than ordinary sea ghosts. Not to mention their strength, some level 1 sea ghosts can master martial arts and even have special abilities. Poof. Many newcomers were so frightened by the scene that they collapsed to the ground, trembling. They had killed sea ghosts before, quite a few, but this was the first time they had seen such a large number of sea ghosts, and they were all level 1. Wake up. Either die now, or pick up a knife and kill these rubbish. The last person alive has the right to live on. Do it. Lu Ming shouted coldly. Without hesitation, a sword appeared in his hand, and he immediately swung his knife at a level 1 sea ghost. But the sea ghost held the trident tightly in his hand and stabbed Lu Ming in the face. When Lu Ming swung his sword to block the trident, but twisted his wrist and swung his sword back to kill the level 1 sea ghost. Ding. You have killed a tier 1 Naga warrior. You get first level crystal 1, points 500. ? Ding. Congratulations on completing your first kill of a level 1 sea ghost. Closing square bracket. Bounty hunter number 001 Lu Ming has been detected, and he has completed the first kill of the first level sea ghost. The reward has been issued to you now. You get 1 Xuanwang level treasure chest, 1/6 skill, iron block, 1/6 skill, mist kick, first level martial arts, great prajna palm. ? Lanjiao and iron blocks. Lu Ming licked the corner of his mouth, turned his head to look at the people behind him, and said to Lao Wang. Lao Wang, Chu Yang, take them to kill the first level sea ghosts outside the island. Ling Momo, Yang Xuan, Wang Xiaomao. The three of you follow me. Lao Wang and Chu Yang responded immediately. It is good. In an instant, nearly 30 people with special abilities gathered together, and began to kill the level 1 sea ghosts in a group led by Lao Wang and Chu Yang. Lu Ming led Ling Momo, Yang Xuan and Wang Xiaomao and fought their way into the heart of the island. However, as they went deeper into the center of the island, they encountered more and more sea ghosts along the way, who came in groups to intercept Lu Ming and his 3 men from invading. The location of the level 1 sea ghost leader will soon be exposed by the system. Hurry up, we can't delay here. You 3, hold on to me. After killing another sea ghost, Lu Ming looked at Ling Momo and the other 2 anxiously. After the first kill of the level 1 sea ghost, the system will forcibly announce the initial locations of all the level 1 sea ghost leaders. But there is only this one chance. If the leader escapes this time, it will be extremely difficult to find him again. At the same time, when Lu Ming achieved the first kill just now, everyone heard the system's voice prompt. Complete the first kill of the first level sea ghost. Closing square bracket. In 10 seconds, the initial location of the Blue Star first level sea ghost leader will be announced. All Blue Star players, please prepare to defeat the first level sea ghost leader in time. Closing square bracket. Question mark. 10. Question mark. 9. Question mark comma question mark. Question mark. 1. Question mark. Ding. The initial location has been released, please check. Check your legs. Lu Ming cursed inwardly, and made the ground beneath him float up. He took Ling Momo, Yang Xuan and Wang Xiaomao with him. The 4 of them immediately took off into the air and quickly ran towards the center of the island. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming and the other 3 saw it from afar. Not far ahead, in the blood pool surrounded by mountains, the figure of a 5-meter giant was constantly gnawing on flesh and blood. I found you. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Ling Momo, shoot. Hearing this, Ling Momo took out the bird gun in her hand, aimed at the head of the 5-meter giant, and was about to shoot. Wind God is angry. Wind demon dance. As the sound was rang out, a violent tornado appeared in response. Lu Ming and the other 4 were instantly caught in the tornado. Lu Ming casually raised the air in front of him to disrupt the tornado, but Ling Momo's posture when she fired the gun was also affected. Bang! Fortunately, with the blessing of the lucky fruit, the 5-meter-tall giant's left eye was shattered with one shot, and the giant instantly let out an angry roar. Pat! There was a hurricane howling towards them, and everyone fell to the ground to avoid it. Lu Ming frowned and cursed. Wang Quan, you fucking bitch. Come out and die. Before he finished speaking, a gust of wind blew by, and Wang Quan and Zhang Maoshan appeared with sly grins, standing in front of Lu Ming. Hello, Lu Ming. Long time no see. Oh, why did you bring your sister out to play today? You look so excited. Ha 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 ha. Wang Quan's eyes suddenly turned cold when he looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, I've told you before, the feud between us has already been formed. Today, none of you can get through here. I, Wang Quan, said so. Lu Ming and Wang Quan stared at each other with cold eyes. The confrontation begins again. Chapter 75. Old grudges are hard to forget. Wang Quan's defense is broken. The yellow bird appears. Lu Ming, Wang Quan. The 2 of them glared at each other, while the other 4 stayed by their side in silence. For a moment, the atmosphere became quiet and depressing. The wrath of the wind god, the true form of the wind god. Heaven and earth ashes. In an instant, both of them attacked at the same time. Wang Quan transformed into a wind god with eyes wide open and stretched out his giant palm to slap Lu Ming. Lu Ming, in the state of Kanha Ta Chi, had a cold look on his face, tightly grasped Changtian in his hand, with blazing fire wrapped around the blade. Facing the overwhelming wind god in front of him, he did not dodge and slashed with a sharp sword. Boom! The 2 men's moves collided with each other, the entanglement of wind and fire, the 2 forces concentrated together, entangled with each other and complemented each other, and unexpectedly formed a giant tornado in the air, sweeping away all the level 1 sea ghosts around. The moment the level 1 Naga warriors were touched by the wind and fire tornado, their flesh and bones were burned by the 2 forces and turned into dust and ashes. When the wind and fire died down, Lu Ming and Wang Quan appeared in tattered clothes. Maoshan, go get the first kill. With me, Wang Quan, here today, no one can get through. Wang Quan snorted coldly and yelled at Jiang Maoshan, who was hiding behind a rock with a cowardly look on his face. Old Wang, then you better be careful. Jiang Maoshan smiled innocently and hurried towards the center of the island. You go too, be careful. Lu Ming said coldly to Yang Xuan and Wang Xiaomao. Hearing this, the two of them set off immediately. Seeing this, Wang Quan snorted coldly, raised his hand and slashed a wind blade towards Yang Xuan and the other two, trying to stop them, but was blocked by Lu Ming. Yang Xuan and the other two did not stop and immediately stopped the fleeing Jiang Maoshan, and the three of them fought together. Lu Ming and Wang Quan looked at each other angrily, while Ling Momo hid in the corner holding a shotgun. You're such a fucking slut, Wang Quan. Lu Ming cursed. No one is as despicable as you. You fucking blew up my alliance base, and shamelessly snatched away all those islands from me. What did I say? Do you know how long it took me to accumulate those 18 islands? Give all the islands back to me now. Wang Quan shouted angrily. Buzz. Lu Ming casually took out 12 immortal slaying flying knives and threw them forward immediately. The immortal slaying knives flew in the air and flew towards the wind lions fiercely. The 12 flying knives instantly cut the wind lions into pieces, and then returned to Lu Ming and floated in a circle. A breeze blew by, and Wang Quan's clothes became even more torn. He glared at Lu Ming. You're playing rogue, You're determined, right? Wang Quan asked, gritting his teeth. Seeing Wang Quan's frustrated look, Lu Ming sneered, come and get it. If you have the guts, come and get it yourself. It's right above your head, fly up and get it yourself. Ha ha ha. Wang Quan was so angry that his face turned blue. He stared at Lu Ming and gritted his teeth. Stop talking nonsense. More people will be coming soon. Get out of my way. Do you think that coward Jiang Maoshan will share the reward with you? Don't dream on that. Lu Ming raised the knife and pointed it at Wang Quan. Even if I can't get it, you, Mr. Lu, don't even think about getting it. Wang Quan sneered. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Quan turned into a hurricane and was about to take action. Bang! A burst of gunfire turned the weathered Wang Quan back to his original state. He was shot in the arm and blood was gushing out. Ling Momo, who was hiding in the corner, had a sly smile on her face, with smoke emitting from the musket in her hand. Lu Ming and Wang Quan stared at Ling Momo. They had no idea what had just happened. Fuck, how did you hit me? Wang Quan stared blankly at Ling Momo in the distance, unable to understand. Base. Ling Momo shook the seastone bullet in her hand, the sly smile on her lips became more intense, and she said proudly. Seastone bullets, they're sold in stores. Seeing Lu Ming and Wang Quan staring in amazement, she didn't understand and asked. You guys don't usually refresh the store. You're really out of date. Seeing this, Wang Quan couldn't calm down for a long time. He looked at Lu Ming's face, which was so gloomy that it seemed as if water could drip out. What did you bring out? You are obviously shameless, right? Lu Ming. Wang Quan asked. It's none of my business. I didn't shoot. Go find whoever shot you. Lu Ming's face was as indifferent as usual, but he was already very happy in his heart. Okay, little girl. Wang Quan was furious. He nodded repeatedly and yelled at Ling Momo. I want to see if you can hit me this time. Wind breath. In an instant, Wang Quan disappeared, turning into wisps of invisible breeze, disappearing in the air but still existing. Wisps of imperceptible wind lingered around Lu Ming and Ling Momo, ready to strike at any time. Just as Wang Quan walked around Lu Ming and was about to attack Ling Momo. Bang! The musket in Ling Momo's hand fired again, but this time the seastone bullet was extremely off target and hit the stone on the ground directly. But the seastone bullet bounced up again, and with a snap, it landed right behind Ling Momo. Wang Quan was shot again. Wang Quan was shot in the left shoulder and right arm successively. At this moment, he didn't know what to cover. What? Wang Quan looked at Ling Momo with a bewildered look on his face. Wang Quan didn't understand why a bullet that had already hit the stone bounced back and hit him. Am I, Wang Quan, so unlucky? Fuck you, Lu Ming, you brought this weirdo out here just to mess with me, right? Go fuck yourself, bye. Wang Quan pulled out 2 bullets, looked at Lu Ming viciously, then said a few words and turned into a breeze and flew away. Lu Ming immediately followed Ling Momo. Hey, you two guys, can you please stop messing with me? The long whip in Zhang Maoshan's hand turned into a long sword, and he slashed across to cut off a grove of trees in front of him. Yang Zunwang Xiaomao jumped up and avoided the fatal knife. At this moment, the weapons in the hands of the two men turned into a soft puddle and could not be used due to the ability of Zhang Maoshan's floating fruit. A gust of wind blew, and Wang Quan's voice rang out. "Maoshan, stop playing, let's go." As he said that, Wang Quan carried Zhang Maoshan and flew towards the center of the island. Soon, Lu Mingling Momo arrived, bringing Yang Xuan and Wang Xiaomao, and the four of them immediately chased after them. The two teams chased each other and neither was willing to give in. Finally, we reached the center of the island. Among the countless first-level sea ghosts, there was a 5-meter-tall first-level Naga warrior leader with a mouth full of sharp teeth. He was holding a mace made of skulls and roaring continuously. Just because one of his eyes was broken. I see. The moment Lu Ming and Wang Quan saw this level 1 Naga warrior leader, their eyes lit up and they sped up suddenly, even their sprinting speed increased by 3 times. The two of them looked at each other and immediately abandoned the others, ready to pull out their trump cards and kill this tier 1 Naga leader as soon as possible. But just when the two were about to take action, boom, a figure suddenly appeared and stood in front of the two of them. He had a cold and gloomy expression and a ghostly smile on his lips. "Thank you for leading the way. I won't be polite if you're the first to kill me." Xiao Qingshan smiled brightly at the two of them, then took out his killing sword. He suddenly turned into a walking human-shaped Jiaozi. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 76, 3 People Fighting. Pirates disrupting the situation. The Wrath of the Sky. Shao. Green. Mountain. Lu Ming and Wang Quan roared in unison. They stared at Xiao Qingshan not far away, furious. "Hey, I'm here." Xiao Qingshan had a smug look on his face, and then he ran quickly. Goodbye. It seemed that Xiao Qingshan was about to go first. As if it was an instinctive reaction, Lu Ming and Wang Quan actually began to work together to speed up, using the Fengfeng fruit and the Piao fruit to jointly activate each other. In an instant, the two men knocked Xiao Qingshan away at extreme speed. Bang! The 3 bounty hunters suddenly collided with each other and fell to the ground. Xiao Qingshan took a long time to get out of the pile of bones. Before he could even figure out what was happening, he was knocked away by an unprecedented impact force. "You two bitches, I must kill both of you today." Xiao Qingshan, who had obsessive-compulsive disorder, looked at the two of them angrily as he saw himself covered in filth, and trembled slightly. Lu Ming and Wang Quan also crawled out from the pile of bones, rubbing their waists. They looked at Xiao Qingshan with a grin. "Hey, none of us should try to get ahead." Wang Quan sneered. "Hee, you were the one who brought the Japanese into the village." Lu Ming rolled his eyes at him and said coldly. But before the 3 of them could say anything, a giant mace made of human bones fell from the sky and chopped towards the 3 of them. The 3 of them dodged immediately, only to see this level 1 Naga warrior leader, with only one eye and a mouth full of sharp teeth, roaring at the 3 of them. His only remaining eye was full of murderous light and resentment. Lu Ming, Wang Quan and Xiao Qingshan are now officially facing off against this level 1 Naga warrior leader. Shave. The 3 of them disappeared together, each using their own methods to attack the Naga warrior leader together. Lu Ming turned the long sword in his hand, and a blazing flame turned into a prison robe of golden flames that wrapped around himself, and he became a prison flame demon. The long sword in his hand merged with the little carp, turning into a 10-meter-long giant blade burning with blazing flames. Emperor Sword Broken Blade. Lu Ming shouted coldly and swung his knife violently. Wang Quan, who was standing aside, stood upside down in the air in the distance, gathering wind energy with his hands to form a large wind-shaped bow. After the big wind bow appeared, Wang Quan held the bow in his left hand and condensed the wind in his right hand, which suddenly formed an unstoppable long arrow of the God of Wind. The phantom of the God of Wind condensed behind Wang Quan and also drew his bow and shot an arrow. Wind God Arrow Meteoric Kill. Wang Quan closed his eyes, opened them again, and suddenly shot an arrow. Xiao Qingshan held the killing sword in his right hand, half of his body was dyed black by the murderous aura, and he gathered all the murderous aura on his body onto the sword. The shadow of Jiaozi slowly emerged behind him, and then merged into the sword of killing, and the shadow of the sword of killing suddenly enlarged. Xiao Qingshan's eyes turned black with white pupils, dragon scales appeared on his body, blood surged in his body, and a dragon's roar could be heard from his throat. Heaven has sent out murderous intent, killing all. All of them will be killed. The 3 top bounty hunters in the Magic City attacked together at this moment, and their 3 ultimate moves instantly engulfed the first-level Naga warrior leader. Bones flew everywhere and waves of blood dissipated. When the dust rose, and when the 3 people looked into the dust, they couldn't help but be stunned. 2 level 1 pirates appeared, blocking most of the 3 of them's moves, and protecting the half-dead level 1 Naga warrior leader behind them. It was because on the chests of the 2 men, there appeared a golden skull badge with a cigar in its mouth. Question mark. Level 1 pirate badge. What are you doing? Are you looking for death? Xiao Qingshan shouted angrily at the 2 pirates. The 2 pirates glanced at him coldly and ignored him completely. You can get lost. We want the first kill in Demon City. One of the pirates said, his words full of arrogance that did not allow any questioning. Damn. Listen, Lu Ming, this bastard is more shameless than you. Wang Quan was so angry that he laughed. He patted Lu Ming's shoulder and joked. Lu Ming shook his shoulders in disgust and rolled his eyes at Wang Quan. Don't fucking compare me to a dog. Hearing this, the 3 of them burst into laughter for no apparent reason, and waited until the laughter died down. Wang Quan stood up, looked at the 2 pirates, and asked, do you 2 know what we do? You're really looking for death, you mice are bridesmaids for cats. After saying that, Wang Quan immediately took action, and a huge wind blade slashed towards one of the pirates. Boom! Stone walls suddenly rose up, and the pirate disappeared. In an instant, the ground under the feet of the 3 people began to tremble, and the pirate and the ground turned into a 30-meter-tall petrified giant, staring at the 3 of them with open eyes. Moment. A huge stone palm came over like an overwhelming force, smashing towards the 3 people. Oh my god. After Wang Quan finished cursing, he instantly turned into wind and dodged. Lu Ming had already noticed that something was wrong, so he made a gesture and used the floating fruit to float himself away. Fuck you 2 bitches. Only Xiao Qingshan reacted and stepped hard with the moon step to escape from the stone palm of the petrified giant. The 3 escaped and looked at the petrified giant with some surprise. Paradox-type stone fruit. Circa's ability. Wang Quan was a little surprised, then frowned and murmured. It shouldn't be. I should know all the pirates who are capable in the demonic city. Lu Ming had a cold face and floated aside in silence. Wrong. Error. This is the first time that my memories of my previous life don't match up. The parahuman-type stone fruit should have been in the hands of the Navy in the previous life, so how did he become a pirate now? Something's wrong, Lu Ming murmured. In the corner of the ground, Xiao Qingshan finally dodged the giant palm. He wanted to directly sneak attack the Naga warrior leader, but another pirate stood in front of him. Get out of here, Xiao Qingshan snorted coldly. Haha, it's just a minor omission. You think you're so great. As the pirate spoke, his mouth gradually opened wider, to an unbelievable size, large enough to swallow the sky and the earth. Teoti's true form, devouring the heavens and the earth. The pirate shouted coldly, and actually turned into a giant glutton. His mouth opened wide like a black hole, constantly swallowing up the organic matter around it. Xiao Qingshan tried desperately to dodge using the moon step, but found that he could not escape the suction of the black hole no matter what. The true form of Jiaozi, the murderous aura of swords and weapons. Seeing that the situation was not good, Xiao Qingshan immediately turned into a living Jiaozi, holding a giant killing sword in his mouth. The black murderous aura suddenly spread from his body and began to permeate the earth like a fungal carpet. The 2 mythical beasts have both pulled out their trump cards. The true form of the fantasy beast. The devouring power of Teoti and the murderous aura of Jiaozi. They are facing each other and competing with each other. It was hard to tell who was better between the 2. At this moment, Lu Ming and Wang Quan were also dodging the attacks of the user of the stone fruit, which were like a tsunami. Lu Ming, you are a troublemaker, so why don't you think of a solution? Wang Quan dodged a stone spike and looked at Lu Ming. Where's your fucking nuclear weapon? Why don't you blow him up? Lu Ming was helpless. Even though he had soul perception, he was unable to sense the true location of the user of the stone fruit. If you can't brand your soul, everything will be in vain. Limited number. Lu Ming said lightly. Fuck, I just know you're such a jerk. You're so awesome for bombing my base, but when I asked you to bomb outsiders, you fucking restricted your account. Wang Quan was so angry that he jumped up and down. Lu Ming stretched out his hand to stop him, and said to Wang Quan and Xiao Qingshan. Don't panic, you two can hold it off for a while. I have a move that needs time to charge. Give me 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, watch me kill these 2 Dogecoins. Hearing this, Wang Quan and Xiao Qingshan immediately agreed. It is good. Then, Lu Ming stepped aside, took out a lot of small soul light balls, and stuffed them into his mouth. The power of his soul surged instantly. Lu Ming patted his cheeks, forced himself to be alert, then put on the black gloves transformed from the piao fruit again, tightly grasped the Lingwu Chu Shui Yanling knife Changtian, and the little carp from the flame fruit also swam to his side. At this moment, Lu Ming felt slightly excited. The power of the soul continued to be released, like chains that began to entangle Changtian, the piao fruit and the flame fruit, merging the 3 into one. The black gloves merged into one with the handle of the Changtian sword, and the small carp turned into the blade. The 3 were intertwined and intertwined. Sword energy, flames, and levitation. The 3 completely different forces were forced to merge together under the guidance of soul power. At this moment, in the sky behind Lu Ming, dark clouds were rolling, strong winds were blowing, and heat waves were rising. Lu Ming slowly opened his eyes, his aura intimidating everyone. The sky seemed to open its eyes at this moment. At that time, the sky was above, staring angrily at the vastness of the world. I am the only one who reigns supreme in heaven and on earth. Lu Ming said calmly. Heaven's wrath. Raise your hand. Swing a knife. I saw those eyes filled with hatred, looking down at the 2 pirates from above, as if looking down at a floating ant. The next moment, the heaven finally made its judgment and decided to bring down boundless wrath to burn and annihilate all the sinners in this world. No, this is all fake. How can a human have such power? Impossible. The pirate who had the ability of the stone fruit looked at the sky in horror, then realized his true form and was at a loss. Run! What are you standing there for? The pirate with the gluttonous ability bit his 2 companions and didn't care about being the first to kill him, and fled towards the distant sea. But, after all, it is impossible to escape God's will. Cut! Lu Ming uttered softly. The heaven is angry, and the punishment from heaven has finally arrived. Even though the 2 pirates resisted with all their might, they were still completely engulfed by the fire of punishment. Pat! Lu Ming fell to the ground exhausted, looking excitedly at the 2 people who were annihilated in the distance. Finally it was performed. Lu Ming couldn't help wanting to laugh out loud at this moment. He had finally succeeded in performing this move. Wang Quan was standing in the distance, slumped on the ground, looking at the 2 people in the distance who were reduced to ashes, and couldn't help swallowing. He has become stronger again. It's difficult, it will be difficult in the future. But at this moment, when Lu Ming and Wang Quan were distracted, Xiao Qingshan did not stop. Killing sword. Ju Sha sword and weapon disaster. Xiao Qingshan took the initiative to attack, and slashed at the half-dead first-level Naga warrior leader in the distance with his sword. Grass. Xiao Qingshan. Lu Ming and Wang Quan finally reacted, but it was too late. Cut. Xiao Qingshan grinned and chopped off the head of the first-level Naga warrior leader with one sword. Pat. When the head falls to the ground, everything is settled. Ha 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 ha. I can't thank you 2 enough. If it weren't for you, Wang Quan, how could I find this place? If it weren't for you, Lu Ming, how could I kill those 2 pirates? Ha 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 ha. Xiao Qingshan held the killing sword in his hand, with a crazy look on his face, and laughed at the 2 of them wantonly. The final winner is me. It's me, Xiao Qingshan. Ha 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 ha. Lu Ming and Wang Quan both looked extremely ugly. For a moment, their faces were gloomy and they were ready to take action at any time. Sudden, Lu Ming was stunned, as if he had thought of something. Chapter 77, Naga Leader. Sea Ghost Superpowers. Luli Zushan. No sound. Lu Ming stood there in shock, as if he was listening to the system's voice, but after waiting for a long time, the system still did not sound the notification sound of Xiao Qingshan's first kill. Suddenly, the astonishment on Lu Ming's face turned into realization, joy and excitement. I understand. I finally know why this sea ghost leader escaped despite being besieged by so many powerful people in my previous life. Lu Ming touched his nose, suppressed the excitement in his heart, and said secretly. His eyes couldn't help but glance at the half-headless corpse of the level 1 Naga warrior leader. But Wang Quan on the side hadn't reacted yet and kept scolding Xiao Qingshan. On the other hand, Xiao Qingshan smiled defiantly and looked at Wang Quan and Lu Ming. Ha 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 ha. Wang Quan and Lu Ming, you two are nothing special. Having said that, Xiao Qingshan was ready to leave, but Wang Quan was still unwilling to let him go, and the two were about to take action. Click, click, click. The sound of gnawing suddenly came from not far away, and Wang Quan and Xiao Qingshan turned their heads to look. The sound came from the half-corpse of the leader, and the corpse's huge belly shrank visibly. Click. A blue, scaleless and extremely smooth claw protruded from the belly of the leader's corpse, as if it was about to be born. Wang Quan and Xiao Qingshan were stunned, while Lu Ming retreated behind them with a guilty look on his face. Snap, snap. The sharp claws cut open the leader's corpse, and a blue head without facial features popped out from the belly. It had a mouthful of blood and was holding a piece of intestine in its mouth and swallowing it in one gulp. Then, under the gaze of the three people, it began to gnaw on the leader's corpse bite by bite, and its body was becoming stronger little by little. In the blink of an eye, the corpse's abdomen was eaten clean. Pat. The faceless creature walked out of the corpse, stuffed the last piece of corpse in its hand into its mouth, then tilted its head as if looking at Wang Quan and Xiao Qingshan. The faceless creature was light blue all over, without a single scale on its body, and its skin was smooth and plump, but it looked extremely strange under the light. Its two claws were sharp and fierce, and there was only a mouth full of fangs on its face. Apart from this, there were no other ornaments. But this faceless monster looked at Wang Quan and Xiao Qingshan curiously. Go! It's the level 1 leader. Xiao Qingshan just shouted coldly. In the blink of an eye, the Naga leader disappeared from his sight. Before Xiao Qingshan could react, it had already appeared behind him, with a pair of sharp claws slashing towards Xiao Qingshan's neck. When a wind blade cut off the Naga leader's claws and disappeared in an instant. Xiao Qingshan collapsed to the ground with lingering fear. If Wang Quan had not taken action just now, he would have been at the gates of death. Be careful, this thing can shave. When did this damn thing learn this? Wang Quan reminded. The Naga leader distanced himself from them, and his broken claws instantly grew back. Before long, he launched another attack, rushing towards the two of them, clenching his fists and swinging his fists at them. Level 1 Martial Arts Mountain Shock Fist. Bang! A punch was thrown, and Wang Quan and the other man were knocked back in disbelief. Before they could think, the Naga leader was already behind them. Question mark. Lan Zhao. The Naga leader raised his foot, and instantly several sharp blades came towards the two men. Although the two men dodged them one by one, dust and blood were splashed all around. How come this damn thing knows everything? Wang Quan turned into a hurricane and blew away all the dust. Where's Lu Ming? Where did that bastard go? Base. Lu Ming, who was hiding in the dark, took the opportunity to swing a knife at the neck of the Naga leader, but this knife, which should have been fatal, was blocked by a sickle made of blood. Under the Naga leader, the remaining blood on the ground gushed out from the earth and turned into a huge sharp sickle, blocking him. Seeing Lu Ming appear, the Naga leader turned the blood-red sickle beside him and slashed towards Lu Ming's face. Question mark. Shave. Unsuccessful, Lu Ming dodged and retreated to the side of Wang Quan and the other two. The three of them stared at the Naga leader cautiously, their eyes filled with deep fear. Sea Ghost ability physical transformation. Lu Ming understood what was going on. He frowned and stared at the Naga leader not far ahead, and couldn't help but become a little more cautious. Humans possess devil fruits, and sea ghosts naturally possess innate superpowers, but not all sea ghosts have superpowers. Only a few sea ghosts that are favored by the tribe can possess special superpowers. Of course, these abilities are usually very tricky, and every time the sea ghost's level is raised, its innate abilities will also evolve. The special ability of the Naga leader in front of him now is material transformation, which can control the free change of objects between solid, gas and liquid. What is this thing? Can this bastard eat devil fruits? Xiao Qingshan cursed and looked at Lu Ming and Wang Quan in confusion. Wang Quan said solemnly, I guess this is most likely an inherent ability. It looks like we're going to be in trouble in the future. You guessed it right. But Lu Ming did not say anything. The level 1 leader had just appeared, so it was impossible for him to know the information about the superpowers. So, Lu Ming looked at Wang Quan and the other man and asked, "What do you mean? Together or? Everyone depends on his ability." Wang Quan and Xiao Qingshan said coldly, and then they disappeared. Xiao Qingshan transformed into Jiaozi again and used true form of fantasy beast heading towards the Naga leader. Black murderous aura began to sweep over like waves. The Naga leader seemed to be born for fighting. He turned the ground beneath his feet into liquid, and then raised a tsunami of earth to block in front of him. The ground condensed into a mountain again, blocking Xiao Qingshan's attack. Boom! Wang Quan turned into a breeze and quietly circled behind the Naga leader. At some point he took out an ancient Han-style short sword with wind wrapped around it. The sword made a faint buzzing sound and he aimed at the Naga leader's neck and swung the sword coldly. Conical wind thorn. With a bang, the dagger was blocked by a layer of blood-red barrier, and the Naga leader slowly turned his faceless face. Seeing this, Wang Quan's face turned cold and he immediately dodged, then he took out his trump card and turned his whole body into wind energy and merged into the dagger. The dagger instantly shone brightly, emitting a dazzling white light, and the entire sword body turned silver white, and he suddenly stabbed towards the Naga leader. Wind God Vacuum Kill. This was Wang Quan's ultimate move to deal with Lu Ming. He would condense the wind on the dagger to repel the external air, and then form a layer of vacuum outside the dagger. This would break all the lethality and specifically deal with Lu Ming's floating fruit and space-based weapons. Wang Quan had no choice but to use it to deal with the leader in front of him in order to survive. The dagger pierced through the blood-red barrier and blood-red sickle of the Naga leader at an extremely fast speed, and the dagger was less than 1 centimeter away from the Naga leader. Bang! The Naga leader turned himself into mist, which floated in the air and dissipated in all directions. The dagger finally pierced through Kangshan Mountain, cutting off the entire mountain. Fuck, can this skill be used like this? Wang Quan was speechless and started cursing immediately. The next moment, the leader of the Naga tribe appeared in midair, and the blood-red sickle in his hand suddenly enlarged. He slashed towards Xiao Qingshan, who had turned into a scaly eye below, and spun in the air like a wheel, then slashed at him. Level 1 Martial Arts Full Moon Slash. Xiao Qingshan had no time to dodge, and his back was instantly cut by the bloody round wheel. Black blood splattered everywhere, and wailing sounds were endless. What? In a flash, Xiao Qingshan returned to his original state, lying on the ground gasping for breath. His entire back had been cut into a bloody mess, and his spine could be vaguely seen. Before long, the Naga leader disappeared from the spot and appeared in front of Wang Quan. Wang Quan's face turned pale in an instant, a chill ran through him from head to toe, and he immediately weathered the elements and prepared to dodge. Unfortunately, the Naga leader stretched out a hand and used the ability of material transformation to forcibly solidify the weathered Wang Quanli. Under Wang Quan's desperate eyes, the Naga leader was condensed and restored, and immediately opened his bloody mouth and bit Wang Quan's arm directly. Buzz! Lu Ming, armed with Kanhuo Tai Dao, slashed at the Naga leader, who immediately dodged but tore off a piece of flesh from Wang Quan. Oh my god! Wang Quan felt pain and his face turned paler, but there was a hint of gratitude in his eyes when he looked at Lu Ming. Thanks. Wang Quan was about to say thank you, but when he looked at Lu Ming, the words came to his lips but he couldn't say them. At this moment, Yang Xuan, Ling Momo, Wang Xiaomao, Zhang Mooshan and others arrived one after another, along with Xiao Qingshan's men. Everyone was stunned as they looked at the Naga leader who was gnawing at the flesh in his hand. Xiao Qingshan's men did not hesitate and immediately fled with Xiao Qingshan, and Lu Ming could not stop them. But Zhang Mooshan walked over with a timid look on his face, looked at Lu Ming and greeted him with a smile. Brother Lu, long time no see. It's nothing. I'll take old Wang and retreat first. This kill is yours. Zhang Mooshan carried Wang Quan on his back and ran away happily with a smile on his face. Lu Ming was not in the mood to care about Wang Quan's life or death. He was always on guard against attacks from the Naga leader. When leaving, Wang Quan looked at Lu Ming and said with a pale face, "I'll give it to you this time, just, don't die." Hee hee. Lu Ming did not answer, but sneered, then looked at Yang Xuan and Wang Xiaomao and said, "Block me for a moment. I'll get ready." Yang Xuan and Wang Xiaomao nodded seriously and said, "It is good. Be careful and use all your strength." Lu Ming reminded, then picked up Ling Momo and hid aside. Lu Ming looked at Ling Momo and said seriously. Let's start, try again, this time we must succeed. Hearing this, Ling Momo was surprised. Ah, I told you, boss, you really can't be lucky. Why don't you believe it? Lu Ming was puzzled. He didn't understand why everyone else could add the dots but he couldn't. Luck is like a consumable. Usually everyone has 1 point, which is consumed by something, but regenerated again. But it's different for people who often do good things or bad things. It's either a lot or it's negative. Ling Momo patiently explained, but there are a few exceptions, such as you choose eldest sister. Momo, I would like to call her the girl of luck. Then, Ling Momo looked at Lu Ming and said with disdain. But boss, you are also special. Lu Ming raised his eyebrows and asked, You are neither 1 nor negative. You are 0. It's not positive, it's not negative. It's like it never existed, so you can't add it. Ling Momo added with a sly smile on her face. You are a man who has been abandoned by luck. It must be because he did too many evil things in his previous life, but Ling Momo didn't dare to say it out loud. Hearing this, Lu Ming pondered for a moment, then snapped his fingers and said with a smile, Got it. Come here. Ling Momo looked at Lu Ming's face with fear, and felt a hint of fear on that face which was full of warm smiles. On the other side, Yang Xuan and Wang Xiaomao faced the Naga leader with nervous expressions. The two of them watched warily, and the family leader also looked at them quietly, even though he had no eyes. Giggles. The Naga leader stared at Yang Xuan and the other man, making noises with his mouth, as if he had found his favorite food. What should we do? Wang Xiaomao asked nervously. Brother Lu said, Do your best. Yang Xuan looked at him and said seriously. Then, the two of them looked at the Naga leader, kept adjusting their breathing rhythm, and then they worked together to start taking action. The salt and bones in their bodies began to merge and increase in value. With the cooperation of the two forces began to merge. A huge statue of the great Ming king appeared behind them. King Daming was no longer in a skeleton state. Instead, he was wearing a layer of white armor condensed from salt crystals. The sharp salt bone sword in his hand was exposed. He looked at the Naga leader in front of him through his helmet. The Naga leader was stunned for a moment. The skeletons of millions of survivors on the ground seemed to be awakened at this moment. They constantly combined and merged into skeleton warriors and merged with the salt crystals floating in the air. Layer upon layer of salt crystal armor, as well as weapons fused from salt crystals and bones, were neatly arranged, like an army formation emerging. The great 19th mud plow salt bones sorrowful life in purgatory. The two commanders Yang Xuan and Wang Xiaomao waved their hands, and the king Yanji Yu Daming behind them took the lead in attacking the Naga leader, slashing with their swords and picking up countless dust. A group of salt bone skeleton warriors seemed to have received orders and began to strangle the Naga leader. For a moment, the Naga leader dodged and fought back and forth on the battlefield, dodging the sword of the salt bone king while smashing the salt bone skeletons that were besieging him. Time passed by little, and Yang Xuan and Wang Xiaomao's physical strength was gradually exhausted. Soon, the two were unable to maintain salt bones purgatory, and all the salt bones skeletons turned into dust and ashes and dissipated along with the salt bones great Ming king. Yang Xuan and Wang Xiaomao were lying on the ground, gasping for breath. They barely stood up and looked at the wounded Naga leader not far away. Roar! The Naga leader was extremely angry. The food he had set his eyes on was blocked for such a long time. He felt unprecedented humiliation and anger. In an instant, the leader of the Naga tribe appeared in front of Yang Zunwang Xiaomao with a blood-red sickle in his hand. He swung the sickle and was about to chop it down on the heads of the two men. Buzz! With one blow of his sword, Lu Ming blocked the bloody sickle of the Naga leader. At this moment, he faced the Naga leader with a cold expression. Fire my outstanding employee. Have you asked me, the boss? Lu Ming had a stern expression, and the sword in his hand was shining with glass-like colors, colorful and dazzling. Raise the knife. Swing a knife. Zhu Xian. Lu Ming slashed down with his sword, cutting off the blood-red sickle and the blood-red barrier, and slashed the neck of the Naga leader. The leader of the Naga tribe was cut in two. Chapter 78. Lucky Blessing. First kill. Azure Treasure Chest. Lu Ming held a colorful glazed sky in his hand and stared at the body that was chopped into two pieces in front of him. The Naga leader, who was cut in half by himself, turned into a ball of liquid, gradually merged into one, and finally returned to his original appearance. The Naga leader shook his head, squatted down, opened his mouth full of fangs, and roared angrily at Lu Ming. The next moment, the entire earth was lifted up by it, like a surging sea, and then turned into towering mountains pressing down on the top of the head. The leader of the Naga tribe, holding a blood-red sickle, his lower body turned into liquid. At an extremely fast speed, he bypassed Kangshan Mountain and attacked Lu Ming from behind. With a turn, the Naga leader flipped the blood-red sickle blade in his hand and chopped down at Lu Ming's neck. Base. Lu Ming did not dodge. He raised his hand and the knife was easily blocked. His eyes were cold and fierce, with a hint of murderous intent in them. Lu Ming disappeared. In the blink of an eye, he appeared behind the Naga leader. Zhu Xian. It was another fatal blow. As Lu Ming's long sword fell, the Naga leader reacted extremely quickly, but his left arm was cut off by the blow. Roar. The Naga leader kept roaring and screaming at Lu Ming. His left arm, which should have been regenerated, could not be restored at this moment for some reason. This sudden change made it angry. In its naive worldview, everything in this world except itself is food. But at this moment, it was actually threatened by food, and the Naga leader felt emotions he had never felt before. Anger and fear. How could it not be angry when it was threatened by a mere food? How could it not be afraid when it felt the approach of death from a mere food? Lu Ming held the long knife calmly and looked at it quietly, having no idea what it was thinking. But at this moment, I felt extremely fortunate and secretly said. Finally successful. Since I can't add luck to it. Then add it to Changtian and the little carp. The glazed sky in Lu Ming's hand now not only integrates the abilities of the floating fruit and the flame fruit, but also adds all the lucky points accumulated by Ling Momo during this period of time. Luck is also a manifestation of energy. At this moment, Ling Momo was holding the bird gun, crying in the corner, biting her lips and wiping her tears, crying non-stop. What a broken knife. It's like a bottomless pit. Poor Momo, I have worked so hard to accumulate all this luck. It's gone, all gone. Sword energy, flames, levitation, and luck. The four forces are linked by the soul and carried by Lingwu Changtian. This is a strange power that Lu Ming has never seen before. This kind of power is huge and mysterious, and it is frightening. Now even Lu Ming himself can only mobilize 1/10 of it. If he uses his full strength, he may even be backfired by this power. Lu Ming was a little exhausted at the moment, and he casually took out a few small soul light balls. Then he calmed his mind. The Changtian in his hand was now like a bottomless black hole, madly devouring his soul power. Seeing that his soul power was about to run out, Lu Ming gritted his teeth and swung his last knife at the oncoming Naga leader. The Changtian sword was shining with glazed light, and colorful dragon fish emerged from the sword and coiled around Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes shone with precious light, and his whole body seemed to be covered with a layer of glazed light, as if a celestial being from the 36th level had descended to the world. Lapis lazuli, precious light, pure nirvana and immortal slaying. Die. Lu Ming took the lead and faced the Naga leader holding a blood-red sickle. His eyes were wide open with anger, and he slashed with all his might with both hands holding the Changtian. At this moment, the colorful dragon fish surrounding him transformed into several colorful dragons, roaring and rushing towards the Naga leader. The knife hit the face right in the middle, breaking through the blood-red sickle in the barrier, and then slashed the faceless head of the Naga leader. A whole corpse fell down and was cut in half. Rustle, rustle, rustle. The two pieces of the fallen Naga leader's remains wanted to turn into liquid and merge again. Lu Ming would certainly not let it go. He transformed the sword in his hand into a remnant fire sword and directly slashed it twice. After being continuously roasted by the blazing flint fire, the Naga leader's body turned into ashes and disappeared. Even so, Lu Ming was still worried. After sending Ling Momo and the other two away, he soared into the air and stood above the island. Countless blazing flint flames merged with the buoyancy of the piao fruit and formed white flame water. Red Emperor form. Lu Ming held the flint water in his hand and sprinkled it under his body. Barbecue world. In an instant, a purgatory on Earth reappeared. Countless level 1 sea ghosts were roasted by the white flint flames and turned into dry bones and then into dust and ashes. After repeating this several times, Lu Ming's face had lost all color, but he still forced himself to maintain his soul perception and did not let go of any life on the island. At last. Question mark. Ding. Question mark. Congratulations. You have completed the first kill of the Blue Star first level sea ghost. Question mark. Data has been entered. Question mark. Ding. You get the first kill reward of the first level sea ghost. Closing square bracket. You get 1-inch azure level, treasure chest, 110 street level crystals, 5 points. Now sent to your backpack, please check. Question mark. Question mark. After hearing the system voice, Lu Ming breathed a sigh of relief and a rare smile appeared on his face. Above the emerald level treasure chest. Question mark. Azure level treasure chest. You know what, I have never seen this thing in my entire lifetime. It makes me a little excited. Lu Ming licked the corner of his mouth, and with his hands trembling with excitement, he took out the azure level treasure chest from his backpack. Above the azure treasure chest, there is the brilliant azure color that looks like the sky after the rain, and the outer shell of the treasure chest that glitters and turns like a gem. The luxurious appearance and temperament exude a noble aura. Wow, wow, wow. Really wow. Lu Ming felt the smooth outer shell of the Tianqing level treasure chest and sighed in his heart that the feel of this treasure chest was completely different from those Xuanwang level treasure chests that were everywhere on the street. How about I give this to that silly girl Ling Momo? A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind, but he immediately rejected the idea. The most unreliable person in the world is that silly girl. It's better for me to drive myself than for her to drive. Yes, I'll open it if you say so. Open. Lu Ming roared immediately and directly opened the azure level treasure chest. Question mark. Ding. Question mark. You get. Fuck. After a dizzy spell, Lu Ming slowly landed on the ground and then calmed his mind. Then he held the treasure chest vigilantly and looked around to see if there was anyone around before he felt relieved. Lu Ming's heart was trembling, and he cursed secretly. Niu Mantang, you are such a bitch. The whole world is curious about what you got on your first kill, and everyone thought it was garbage. But who would have thought? You are so ambitious. Lu Ming sneered, and finally understood that Niu Mantang, who got the first kill of level 1 in the previous life, did not announce to the world what he had opened. So, this is what he was thinking, haha. Lu Ming was still in shock, fearing that the level 1 Naga leader would be resurrected from the dead, so he gave a soul to a stone on the ground of the island, and then attached a soul mark to it. He then took the 3 of them and floated back to reunite with the main force. After a while, a Dinghai Shenzhen fell from the sky and blew the entire island to pieces, leaving no corpses behind. In a second, the survivors of the 3 major camps around the world heard the system's prompt sound. Congratulations to Daxia Bounty Hunter number 001 Lu Ming. Complete the first kill of the first level sea ghost and defeat the leader of the Naga tribe. Closing square bracket. Question mark. Question mark. All over the world, the survivors who are now joining forces to fight against the level 1 sea ghosts have only one thought in their minds. Fuck. For a moment, Lu Ming's ancestors for 19 generations were called out countless times in the hearts of everyone in the world. Seeing that the first kill was snatched away, many people from all over the world stopped their attacks, and some even suffered more than half their casualties. When they were about to succeed, Lu Ming just happened to snatch it away. One step at a time, one step at a time. The name Lu Ming is also remembered by powerful people all over the world. Chapter 79 Reactions from all sides. Civil unrest in the Navy. The dark hand is coming. Summer. The sea area in Shuzhong. Plop. The level 1 bounty hunter Niu Mantang sat on the Minotaur's bullhead and gradually changed from a human-shaped unicorn back to his original form. He gasped and looked at his subordinates. Gone. Just like that. Niu Mantang asked unwillingly. What a fucking bastard. Who is Lu Ming? How dare he snatch my first kill? If you want him, come out and fight with me, Niu Mantang. I'm going to chop his son of a bitch to death with this axe. The subordinate stepped forward and responded, Boss, I heard it seems to be the sea drop in the Magic City. Magic City. Niu Mantang carried an axe and looked far away in the direction of Magic City. Sooner or later I'm going to have to meet this bastard. Humph. The sea area of Demon City. Wang Quan, who had just escaped, heard the system prompt and sat up in shock as if he was dying of illness. Grass. Wang Quan's face turned pale, and he cursed angrily with an indignant expression. It was still snatched away by that bastard Lu Ming. I'm so jealous that my hair is turning purple. Ah. At this time, his men Lu Lu and Zhang Maoshan came into the cabin with a basin of water and medicine, looked at him and said to him, "Old Wang, you should take a rest. You have already eaten a piece of meat. Just bear with it. We will disinfect you and go back to find someone with the ability to recover and heal you. I hope you don't get rabies." Lulu tried to comfort him. "Hey, boss, please stop it. Even though you are a naturalist, I can't stop you from committing suicide like this. I won't accept this. I won't accept this," Wang Quan said angrily, biting the pillow. "You two might as well kill me if you just watch that bitch Lu Ming dominate the Demon City. Old Zhang and little Lu, you two should kill me right now. Hey, don't worry. After Lu Ming grabs the first kill this time, just wait and see." A hint of cunning and treachery appeared on Zhang Maoshan's timid face. Those guys behind this demon city are probably going to be unable to hold back, or if all else fails we can go to Jiangnan. Hearing this, Wang Quan's eyes lit up. Yes, since there are no capable people in the Magic City Sea, we can go to the Jiangnan Sea to look for them. Daxia is so big and there are so many powerful people. I don't believe that we can't find someone who can suppress Lu Ming. Haha, let's go. Hey, why do I suddenly want to bite you? Upon hearing this, Zhang Maoshan and the other man turned pale. Ha 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 ha, I was just kidding you too. Zhang Maoshan and the other man remained silent. Magic City Naval Base. Zhangla was really speechless. They didn't even receive any information about the level 1 sea ghost. When the system notified them of the coordinates, they were just about to set off. The first kill of a level 1 sea ghost was snatched away by Lu Ming. Their navy didn't even have the qualifications to be a spectator. The system notified me directly, and my beautiful fantasy was shattered. Bang! Zhangla smashed the table in the conference room with one punch, and a chilling chill continued to emanate from his body. For a moment, everyone in the conference room was silent. Why? Zhangla gritted his teeth and stared at everyone present. Why haven't we received any intelligence? What on earth are you doing? Are you just sitting in the office and eating dry meals? You are just sitting there doing nothing. Can you do something useful? What use does the Navy have for you? Upon hearing this, the faces of the high-ranking Navy officers in the Magic City turned pale, but looking at the cold aura around Zhangla, no one dared to speak. Zhangla, you are too presumptuous. Zhang Qifan pointed at Zhangla and shouted angrily. Zhangla stared at Zhang Qifan, his eyes filled with murderous intent that he could no longer suppress. Sizzle. Layers of ice instantly surged out of Zhang Li's body and headed straight towards Zhang Qifan. In Zhang Qifan's horrified eyes, he saw that he was about to be frozen. Click. A black fist shot out and shattered the attacking ice crystals. The fat man Zhao Bishan was seen holding a rice cake in his mouth, lying between the two men. Old Zhao! Zhangla exclaimed. Zhao Bishan smiled and took a bite of the rice cake. He patted Zhang Qifan, who was still in shock, looked at Zhangla and said. Hey, Lao Zhang just said it, why are you so angry? Calm down, calm down. Zhao Bishan stepped forward, patted Zhangla on the back, pressed him down on his seat, and consoled him with a smile. Freshly steamed rice cakes, would you like some? Thank you. Zhangla seemed to realize that he was controlled by anger just now, and took the rice cake to calm down. Upon seeing this, the senior naval officers of the Magic City breathed a sigh of relief. Especially the old leader who was in the lead. He was smoking quietly, looking at Zhangla dimly, his expression changing from gloomy to bright. The old leader sighed and he had to admit that the new generation of Navy was indeed a rare force, but unfortunately this force had its own will. It's out of control. Everyone should learn a lesson this time. If you make such mistakes again, I will never tolerate it. The old leader raised it heavily and put it down gently. But opposite him, Zhangla, who was eating rice cakes, looked at everyone present with a flickering expression and a myriad of thoughts in his mind. Zhang Qifan, who was standing aside, stared at Zhongli with a pair of resentful eyes, as if he wanted to eat him alive. Click. A wine glass was crushed by Zhou Qi. His face was gloomy, veins bulged on his forehead, and the shadow of a black dragon flickered faintly behind him. The dozen or so pirate captains below were silent and dared not say a word. Lu Ming. You're such a jerk, Lu Ming. Zhou Qi gritted his teeth and said hatefully. I originally wanted to keep you as my dog, but I didn't expect you to be a dog that would bite its master back. He. Sitting nearby, a young man with fair skin and long hair drank the red wine in his glass in one gulp and said with a smile. Although I don't know why you are interested in this guy, I have already told you that this guy is not as simple as you think. Otherwise I wouldn't have waited until now to take action against him. The long-haired young man showed a handsome smile. Hearing this, Zhou Qi looked up at the long-haired young man with interest. Oh, besides me, is there anyone else interested in him? Zhou Qi asked. It's that beauty of mine who keeps asking me to kill Lu Ming. The long-haired young man rubbed his forehead, a trace of worry emerging on his handsome face. Ha. Okay. Zhou Qi wiped his hands and looked at him with a smile. Yang Tong, I've given you my permission, so just go ahead and try to kill him. I want to see what the result will be. No problem. As they spoke, they raised their glasses again and drank them all. Chapter 80. Magical Paradise. Floating Town. Soul Condensation. The competition for the first kill at level 1 has come to an end. However, the remaining first level sea ghosts in various places swept across the entire blue planet like a tide. In an instant, all the seas in the world, whether humans or ordinary sea ghosts, were regarded as bait by the first level sea ghosts, and the survivors in various places began to fall into an even more desperate battle. The level 1 survivors of the 3 major camps can still fight, but the survivors of the 3 major camps who have not entered level 1 can only wait for the tragic fate of being torn apart and eaten by the sharp claws and teeth of various sea ghosts. Scenes of death are being played out in all the seas of the blue planet. In order to survive, the survivors of the 3 major camps gradually formed a trend of banding together for warmth, and began to spontaneously form bases and towns with the first level survivors from various places as the center. Soon, the entire blue star began to fall into the craze of establishing bases. Apart from the Demon City waters, Daxia was also caught up in this wave, and 3 major bases in various seas began to appear one after another, including the capital base, Shuzhong base, Liaodong base, Guangdong and Guangxi base, and even the Jiangnan base. But only the sea area of Modu is like a paradise. Just because the initial island of the first-level sea ghost was blown up by Lu Ming, this action greatly delayed the production time of the first-level sea ghost in the Magic City. In addition, Lu Ming's floating island, the Magic City naval base, and the personal forces of pirates and bounty hunters continued to take in survivors. During this period of time in the waters of the Demon City, there were extremely rare incidents where no disputes or fights broke out among the 3 major camps. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye a month has passed. Lu Ming's floating city is still in the bustling period of large-scale infrastructure construction. After settling the previous 3 survivors, the population group recruited another 2 survivors at Lu Ming's instruction. At one point, the floating island had a population of more than 5. Today, the floating island has planned out the structure of a town, and all the major buildings are being built in an intensive and orderly manner. Moreover, the architectural style is different from that of the city, and it has chosen the style of a town in another world, with well-organized traffic paths, slate-paved streets, a fountain square on the central street, the main roads of the town, and a public market. Except for the 9-story City Lords building in the center of the town, which stands tall, the height of the remaining buildings will not exceed 3 stories. With such a staggered height, you can easily overlook the entire town by standing on the top floor of the City Lords building. The entire town has also built a special sewer system that can uniformly treat residents' wastewater, and the filth is uniformly incinerated and sterilized, and then made into fertilizer and returned to the earth. The meteorological team would also kindly advise Lu Ming to regularly bring in dark clouds and precipitation to ensure rainfall, soil moisture, and air humidity in the town. Drip. Hey brother, let me get out of the way so that Weiba can't pass. Don't rush me, I'm blocked here too. On the main road of the town, a row of Weiba cars were slowly driving on the road. They were made of steel with some wooden structures, leather seats, and the three wheels were loaded with Sky Island specialty jet shells sold exclusively in the system store. Power Boss. It is the latest product of the industrial group, using clean energy jet shell as the core power, and is made into a means of transportation for residents. According to the specifications of jet shell, the specifications of Weiba are naturally different. 2 wheels for 1 person, 3 wheels for delivery, 4 wheels for transportation. The newly built town on the entire floating island has adopted the Sky Island shell elements, such as light shells for lighting the streets and homes, heat shells and wind shells for cooling and heating, flame shells for cooking and boiling water, and small spray wind shells for bathing and hair drying. Under the creativity of the industrial team, various Sky Island shells have gradually begun to enter the lives of residents. Look, this is fresh beef supplied by the supply team. Fried dough twists, freshly fried dough twists. Grilled sausages are absolutely safe, and have passed the food inspection. They taste great. Rutabaga, luobei. On both sides of the main road, there are snack stalls of the same size. Residents can choose stalls by spending a certain number of points from the logistics team. They can be used to set up stalls to sell food and goods. Of course, the ingredients must be sourced from the material group, and the prepared food must also be inspected by the food group to ensure that there are no additives, no technology, and no harsh labor. Of course, each category is unique, and there is competition protection. Crackling. At the end of the main road is a circular central fountain square, surrounded by shops of varying sizes. In front of one of the small shops, flash bombs were used instead of firecrackers, making popping sounds. Ling Momo was seen standing at the door with the Song siblings, smiling as they held up a sign that read, "Momo's Lucky Shop." Welcome everyone. If you don't need extra luck, you can come to Momo's Lucky Shop. There, I sell luck at a fair price. Ling Momo stood at the door with a smile to greet all the customers. Anyway, everyone has a certain amount of luck. If you don't have it, it will regenerate on its own after a while. So Lu Ming specially allowed Ling Momo to open a lucky store to accumulate luck in case she needed it in the future. Xiaochu Tavern's new product, Snowflake Wine, has a mellow taste and a sweet aftertaste. Xiao Lei's Sichuan Restaurant, authentic Sichuan cuisine, discount for new customers. In particular, after walking past the doors of the shops in the square, you must try the 2 signature restaurants on the floating island at the end of the square. After walking through the square, you will see the center of the town and the towering City Lords building in front of you. At this moment, on the top floor of the City Lords building, Lu Ming stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, admiring the scenes of the town. Although it was still in the first phase of construction, the outline of the town was already visible at a glance. Lu Ming nodded with satisfaction, then collapsed on the sofa and continued to absorb the small soul light balls and the first-level sea ghost crystals. In a corner, Fatty, Little Carp, and the black gloves Shiki transformed from the floating fruit were constantly absorbing the first-level sea ghost crystals. This time, he harvested nearly 8 level 1 sea ghost crystals. From then on, Lu Ming was immersed in absorbing the small soul light balls and the first-level crystals. Nowadays, Lu Ming is almost done absorbing the 5-year souls of 10 people. Logically, the lifespan of his own soul should be no less than 50 years. But now, after several investigations, Lu Ming found that the lifespan of the soul is only 5,000 years, which is 100 times smaller. It is condensed 100 times. Lu Ming's soul power at this moment is completely incomparable to his previous self. If a strand of soul power in the past was like a hair, so now Lu Ming's soul power is like a strong horse line. Lu Ming feels that if his soul exceeds 10,000 years, it will usher in another major qualitative change. Just as Lu Ming was lying on the sofa, full of anticipation and enjoying the future. Thump! The door was pushed open. Lao Wang and Wu Chu rushed in hurriedly. Something big happened. The 2 men stood in front of Lu Ming, looking at him with serious expressions. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.